starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, everyone, welcome once again to the YouTube channel. I'm here with Darth Vader.
Good afternoon.
Good
everyone.
afternoon now.
Welcome,
Welcome, everyone. Well, we are live.
Pastor. You're mute. I don't know what's going on.
Am I
You're
muted?
mute and black.
Am I what? Am I mute?
You got no sound, Burrow.
About now.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know why my sound is cut off on the other thing. I ain't really doing anything different. Anyway, let's just keep it on this one. Just in case. So we want to welcome yous that are watching right now. Hola, hello. Hey, buenos dias. Yeah, Trump 2024, Mike. There you go. Calling it out early. Sorry, guys, for being late. It's been a long day today.
Mm-hmm.
Kids going back to school. So you can
not going to bed.
Yeah, I mean, they went to bed, getting them out, and we had to drive. They missed the bus on day one. I was like, okay, we're going to just drive them and make it a happy day. So.
Well, they did. I didn't. I've been up all night.
Great. Yeah. So it was very interesting. So, right, we might as well start with JP. Guys, listen, we're not going to waste your time. There's just too much going on, man. Might as well start with JP. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page. We are also live on X and as well as Heart of the Matter. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to put a link to the Heart of the Matter channel. I think, Darth Vader, you can go ahead and post that. Make sure you subscribe over there as well. Without further ado, let's get to this one. The title of this one is He Acted Alone. He's acted alone. At least that's what we are supposed to believe. We got JP on the channel today, so let's take a listen.
So, what did you think about the assassination?
Dude, I almost had that game beat. Yeah, so everybody but the media says the shooter had help. But that's not true. Now, I know this will sound absolutely insane and like I'm off my rocker, but the assassination attempt was not an inside job. Let me get my files. Now, just hear me out. I'll prove it. Let's just establish right off the bat, the shooter acted alone. But all the conspiratorial people are saying things like, well, what's a 20-year-old doing with multiple encrypted messaging accounts? Well, you have to realize the media has been telling us he's a loner. So it sounds to me like he was using encrypted messaging accounts so no one could find out that he didn't have anyone to message, because he was embarrassed by how lonely he was. Okay, now this is just a complete misunderstanding. Crooks, who didn't know how to make explosives, had homemade explosives in his truck and a detonator with him on the roof. At first glance, it does sound a little suspicious, but it's easy to explain. The shooting happened on July 13th, so the explosives were probably just left over from the 4th of July. Oh, bomb-level explosives? Well, yeah. He probably just really wanted to celebrate the 4th of July. He's probably just a really patriotic guy. Who forgot to set them off on the 4th and then tried to kill the president? Well, like, who doesn't have explosives? I've got explosives in my truck right now. Now, I've seen reports of a lot of conspiratorial nut jobs who say, oh, well, Crooks didn't act alone. And they'll cite things like the Heritage Foundation that released cell phone data of a mysterious person who made frequent trips to Crooks' home from a building in DC near the FBI office. Frequent trips? That sounds suspicious. Not when you do the math. The most obvious explanation is there's probably an Amazon shipping warehouse in DC, and this so-called mysterious person was probably just an Amazon delivery driver taking DVD box sets of Friends to Crooks' home in Pennsylvania.
Oh, man.
I love how he highlights the lengths people will go to dismiss and discredit any possibility
Yeah.
that he didn't act alone.
Yeah.
Like, these
Isn't
are
that crazy?
all things that have added up over time that you've
Mhm.
seen in Crooks's history,
Mm.
where cell phone data shows that he was less than a block away from the FBI building,
Yeah.
which is a perfect place to meet up if they're trying to plan something,
Yeah.
you know, or give him instructions
Yeah.
or, things of that nature.
Yeah. Isn't
Just,
that?
I'm not saying that they did, but if they were to do something like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's awful convenient that his cell phone was just that close to their building.
Mm. Yeah. There's just so much to work with here. Also, do you notice how much the media is trying to get us to forget about what just happened here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
almost like
they want
it
us to
became a
all
taboo
memory
subject
hole it.
overnight. Yeah, memory hole. It became a taboo subject. It's like very little is said about it anymore. Because today we got to talk about Kamala Harris. I mean, she's black, right? We got to talk about her. She's the next big thing,
But I thought she was Indian.
Well, it depends who you ask. you know,
And I'm not talking about the woo woo Indian. I'm talking about red dot Indian.
He's- yeah, but
Sorry,
what,
I'm not. I'm
they
too old
say
to be
about
culturally sensitive
Talk
these
more
days.
you know what they say. It's called the one drop rule, right? The one drop rule is that if she
You
has
got one
blood
drop
in
of
her,
blood. Yeah.
she's officially black. But that doesn't apply for any other race. So
But the thing, but my concern is don't most blacks distinguish Jamaicans separate and apart from Africans?
That is true. Yeah, for example, I am not black enough for Black Americans, even
Because
though I'm
even
from Haiti.
Haitians.
Yeah, even though I'm from Haiti, both of my parents were Africans, original Africans. I got some long history of French in me as well, but I'm really a black man if you take a good look.
Mhm.
But for Black Americans, I was told I wasn't black unless I was born here. So I can't have an opinion about that. But she's black enough just because she has one drop of Jamaican black blood in her from
And
her father.
not to
I would
mention the
find it
fact that,
inconsistent.
correct me if I'm wrong, but if you go back in her lineage, weren't her grandparents slave owners?
Yeah. That's a good point.
So
Anyway, we're gonna be talking about Kamala Harris a little bit later.
just food for thought to chew on while we continue
Heads up.
on here.
Heads up. All right, let's go on.
Home in Pennsylvania. Probably liked to watch Friends because he didn't have any. Think about that. And if the FBI can get into Crooks's phone, I'm sure they'll find he was a Prime member. But for now, the FBI says they can't get into his phone. But I'm sure they're working hard on it. Oh, talking about the FBI, we better turn our phones off. They're most likely in our phones right now listening to us, and I don't want them to think I'm talking negatively about them. I love you guys. Now, the day of the event, there were a lot of security anomalies, but they're all very easy to explain away. For example, people are putting way too much weight into this, that the Secret Service had been watching Crooks long enough before the shooting that they had pictures of him and they were circulating the pictures. Why'd they have pictures of him if they didn't think he was a threat? And if they thought he was a threat, why didn't they neutralize him? Nut jobs. By my estimates, the Secret Service probably thought he was a severely autistic boy, and they were impressed that he knew how to use a rangefinder. I would take a picture of that. You know, like if you see a cat playing blackjack, you're gonna take a picture of it. Oh yeah, and then there's all kinds of people saying, well, police were inside the building that Crooks was on the roof of when he took the shots. How'd they let that happen? The answer is so obvious. The police were inside. Crooks was on the roof. They couldn't see or hear him. Wait a minute. What's that sound? Hold on, I'll be right back. Oh, we're good. It was nothing. It was just a squirrel on the roof.
If you could hear the squirrel on the roof, I wonder if they could have heard the man walking on the roof, right?
I'm telling you, and not to mention the fact that was a tin roof. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tin roofs have almost zero insulation. I live in a trailer. Okay. I have insulation. I have a well-insulated trailer. Not to mention the fact that my roof has extra layers on it. I had a tree branch fall on my roof during a winter storm that legitimately cracked the inside of my ceiling. And I still haven't had a leak from it. That's how good of a roofing job I've had done on my trailer. Squirrels will jump from my tree next to my house, run across the roof of my house, and it sounds like a freaking herd of elephants running across the roof of my house.
Interesting. So I wonder how much more
louder it is on a
it would have
tin
been.
roof.
Yeah, imagine a man is walking on top of that roof back and forth, and he did. We had videos
And
of
it
him going
wasn't
back and
just
forth.
him walking, he was legitimately running across that roof.
But nobody knows why, for some reason, right?
Yeah.
We still don't know why.
We don't
that
know
happened.
why.
Nobody
And we don't know
knows.
why everybody just
Yeah.
let him.
We can't
And
figure
we
out
don't know
a
why,
squirrel. A squirrel can be on the roof, and we can't figure that out. But a person on the roof,
the
there's no
sniper
way we
team
can
that
figure
was
that
in
out.
the
That's just
window
why.
only took pictures and texted to everybody. And
Oh yeah.
why the local
Interesting.
PD and all the other people were all on different frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually saw something that was, to me, even more disturbing. I actually have a clip that I can send you that is actually even more disturbing, that I think, than what actually happened in the aftermath that everybody kind of overlooked in the hubbub.
Okay. That's just crazy. Yeah, you can certainly send that to me.
Yeah, I'll let
Let's continue in the
me
meantime.
pull it up.
These things are so loud with their little tiny feet scampering. Oh yeah, and then the conspiracy theorists raise this issue like, well, there were so many witnesses that saw crooks on the roof crawling with a rifle and they alerted authorities. What happened there? Well, nobody likes a tattletale, and like the boy who cried wolf, you can't believe everything people tell you. But believe me when I say this, crooks acted alone. And then people say things like, well, why wasn't Secret Service on the roof? They must have been ordered to stand down. No, what those people just aren't hearing is now former Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle came out and said the roof was too sloped. It was too dangerous. Case in point, Crooks went on that roof and he died on that roof. That sounds like a dangerous roof to me. Now hear me on this issue, because a lot of people are taking this bait into thinking it was an inside job. Because Senator Josh Hawley has said he had a whistleblower come forward, which informed him that most of Trump's security that day weren't even Secret Service. They were inexperienced personnel assigned by DHS. But why would Trump be getting his security from a delivery company?
You're thinking about DHL.
DHS. Oh, I don't know about that. Like, what are you going to believe? A whistleblower? They're usually so mentally unstable that they often take their own lives. Just look at all the Boeing whistleblowers. They're not reliable, stable people. Yeah, and then people are raising the issue that Trump's team had routinely asked the DHS for more security personnel and they were denied. Well, that's probably because Trump got confused like me and he was asking DHL. They don't even have security, apparently. Well, now, I'll tell you this, people are driving me crazy with all this talk about there being a second shooter. Oh yeah, there was a second shooter on the water tower. Look at this mysterious dark figure. First of all, it's not a dark figure. It's a figure of color. Get with the times, bigots. Second, do you know how unlikely it is that there would be a second shooter? It would be completely unprecedented. Once the official investigations conclude, there are never second shooters, always a lone gunman. It's just how they do it. Yeah, like just think about the JFK assassination. Allen Dulles was the head of the CIA until JFK fired him because he was corrupt and couldn't be trusted. But once JFK was assassinated, Dulles was assigned to the Warren Commission to get to the bottom of the assassination. Oh, was it the CIA? No, psycho. The former head of the CIA that JFK fired concluded it was a lone gunman. And it's pretty much the same here with Trump. You have to understand that the FBI, CIA, and Secret Service are investigating the assassination attempt, and if there was any inside involvement of the FBI, CIA, or Secret Service, they would have found it by now.
Yeah,
Of
that's right.
course they would.
Yeah, sure.
You
Yeah.
want the finger pointing at them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And
They're
the one I'm
that's
surprised he
crazy.
hasn't touched on is the fact that local law enforcement, National Guard, and the Secret Service were all on different radio frequencies.
Mm.
They all had different radio frequencies, so
Why
none
is
of them were on the same radio channel. The
it
only
sounds like
thing
somebody
they
had
had,
that set up from the start so that the communication could not go through.
yeah, the only thing they had in common was a group text chat.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That makes sense. Yeah. Just saying. Just saying. Oh man.
Just spitball in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a thought. All right, let's let him finish.
Conclusion. It was a lone gunman and the assassination attempt. And for that to be conclusive, that would imply that there was only one person on Earth that wants Trump dead. And guess what? That was Crooks. The one person on Earth that wanted Trump dead is dead. Nobody else would have had any motive. So, case closed, not an inside job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for everybody who came afterward and said, everything that they said about it.
Yeah, it sounds like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, right? Similar to what happened to Mr. Epstein. It's just the cameras weren't working, right? And the security guards weren't paying attention, and he so happened to have something there that he could hang himself. Like, it's just everything that needed to be there for him to die that day.
There's only so many coincidences before it's no longer a coincidence.
Yeah, it's like more powerful than evolution, right? It's supposed to be had evolution, and then here comes life, and here comes order, and here comes science. It's like, how is
that possible?
How is a big bang results in perfect order? So,
exactly.
Anyway, it's just
how do you get perfect order from chaos?
Yeah, it's like who put the chaos there in the first place? How is the yeah? So now be quiet. Let's move on. The media moved on. Now they're talking about Kamala Harris. So everybody's gonna talk about Kamala Harris. So let's talk about Kamala Harris because that's what they wanted to talk about, right? So I mean, you have a thought on that, and if you were to ask me, with all jokes aside, somebody's behind the scene working things out, and obviously they wanted him gone, and by the grace of God, he didn't work out as planned. But I don't think that's the end.
I don't think they wanted him gone. Honestly, I think they wanted Joe Biden still there because he was easily to control and to manipulate.
Yeah.
The only thing is Trump, for example. He was overly exposed when he did the debate with Trump.
Yeah.
And with that, they had to bail on that plan, and they were stuck with her holding the bag. So they really didn't have any other option.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah, I mean, you're not that far from the truth either. I like this. You can tell me if this is true. This was on X. It's Brittany Trump. Brittany Trump. It says all stood to Democrats, and what do they all have in common?
They all got shot.
And just saying, I don't.
And the thing is,
Kennedy
was even a Democrat himself.
Yeah, I don't know too many Democrats president who were shot. Do you know any? Kennedy was, he was a Democrat himself, but he stood against, what was going on with that, with the war and all that. So,
well, not just the war, but you also realize Kennedy was actually trying to get rid of the IRS and the bank system as we know it. He wanted to go back to the way things were with tariffs and things like that, as far as earning an income.
Yeah. And so Lisa's asking, who is this guy? This is JP. Is Awaken with JP YouTube channel. If you don't know who JP is, he's gonna make you laugh. He has a way of telling the story in a very sarcastic way.
JP is great. He's hilarious. He'll make you laugh all day.
While telling you the truth at the same time.
I sent you that clip. It's a very, very short clip.
I can pull that up quickly. Oh yeah. I remember that. All right, let's play this.
And she's just like right there.
And there's this clip of a Secret Service agent talking on his headset while
Yeah, let's make that full screen. Share script, watch full video. There we go. Oh, that's just okay. That's just part of it.
Yeah, it's just a small. It's like a small 10-second. Well, it's supposed to be.
Watch this, dude. Watch. She sits down. Yep. Watch this. Puts the sign up.
Okay, stop. Pause. If you pan out bigger, that's not her sign. First off.
Oh, that's not her sign. So it's somebody.
No, it's somebody sitting in front of her.
Okay, that's good to know.
However, on the flip side, because I watched the same video on body language behavioral specialists, where she's looking, she looks in the same direction as everyone else, but everyone is looking on an even plane. They're not looking up or down. They're looking parallel.
So you wonder if she knew.
But she looks in that direction and up. You see how her head's slightly tilted up?
Yeah, I see.
You can even see how the ball cap goes up. Her glasses are up. You know, everything's looking up.
Yeah.
And you see that on the panned out view too.
Yeah, it looks like certainly she must have known something. At least from what we've seen, we cannot say for certain that's what it is. It looks that way.
Continue.
Shots go off. She's
completely normal, and then watch.
Yeah,
real
her
quick,
reaction wasn't, she wasn't panicking at all.
When it starts, she gets a small smirk on her face. Like they again in the blown out view with the behavioral specialists that I watch, you see the dimples come into her face. It's very subtle. You see them come into her face, and you see the dimples come up for like a split second.
If you could find that video, you can send it. At least we can get to the part where the guy is talking about that. Yeah, I see it.
Shots go off.
Right there.
Yep.
There.
Yep.
Yeah, right
see,
there.
she's smiling.
Yep.
Where everybody else is panicking, freaking, and getting down.
Shots go off.
Right there. I saw the smirk.
Yeah. That's not a sign of fear.
No. And she's late to respond to everybody else is jumping. And sometimes we realize things a little late, but it's kind of like, really?
She's completely normal, and then watch.
And then she's got her.
What the fuck?
And she has the fastest response time on a phone. Okay.
That's amazing.
And not only that, but there's a guy in the panned out view, there is a guy about 10 feet from her on the other side of Trump who has the same exact movement as her. Like identical.
People are freaking out.
If it was
And she's just like right there.
and there's this clip of a
this right here, okay? This is what I clipped out, okay? Now, everybody was focused on the chick who couldn't holster her weapon, right?
We're missing.
Up front. Watch the guy in the back in camo.
Okay.
a Secret Service agent talking on his headset while they are escorting Trump into a vehicle. The guy then points his gun at Trump for a moment, and then
Yeah, why would you point a gun at Trump?
Okay. Now, I
putting Trump
discussed
into
this
a
with
vehicle.
another veteran friend of mine. He says he doesn't think he was pointing it at Trump. He says it looks like it's a bad angle and stuff like that. I'm sorry. I disagree. I heartedly disagree.
Yeah.
And
The guy then points his gun.
watch it. That is straight up pointed at Trump as he's getting in the vehicle. Now you can
on
go
his headset
okay.
while they are escorting Trump.
Sorry. Go
He
ahead.
talks on the radio, and
So
if
put
you
that into
use the here's the thing, Pastor. If you use the plus and comma button, you can go frame by frame. Okay, on this video, you can go frame by frame, so you don't have to keep pausing and unpausing, going 5 seconds at a time. You can go frame by frame by using the plus or the period and comma button.
You said a period and the comma button?
Yes.
Okay.
See,
okay. I see what
you can advance it or rewind it frame by frame. Okay. So, right here, he's talking to he's in front right now of the vehicle. He talks to someone on the radio. He's getting orders over the radio. What those orders are, we don't know. Now, this is not Secret Service. Secret Service are the guys in the suits. Okay? Local PD are the guys here in with the black helmet. They're the SWAT team. That's National Guard.
Yeah. Why is he? Isn't there anybody else at all? National Guard with different uniforms?
No.
What about this guy in the black?
That's local PD. That's SWAT.
So Secret Service, local PD, National Guards.
Yeah, that's how you distinguish the three of them.
Wow. Okay.
And then you continue on
his headset while they are escorting Trump into a vehicle.
And then he gets off. He steps to his left and advances onto Trump while raising his rifle and lowering it in Trump's direction. You see that? He gets off the radio, steps left and forward around the front of the vehicle, and raises it directly at Trump. And it looks like he's aiming for that section that's between the door and the frame of the car.
Yeah.
Right at Trump's head.
That is interesting.
As he's getting in the car. Now, here's what I think stops him. You see the woman, right? The woman Secret Service agent?
Yeah.
There's a guy right in front of her.
Yeah.
And the guy with the black helmet behind her. I think the guy in front of her turns his head to the right as he notices movement out the corner of his eye and says something and gets the guy in blacks behind him attention, and they both look at him, and I think that's what gets him to put his weapon down.
Okay, stick a
And
look.
I think that's the only thing that saved Trump from...
Stick a look.
His gun at Trump for a moment, and then he puts it down. Another piece.
Yeah. Wow. We have a lot of questions.
My friend says it looks like a bad camera angle and whatnot.
I want to believe that.
I would like to believe that,
Yeah.
but given the circumstances that day,
Yeah, it seems like everything that could go wrong went wrong that day.
I'm just saying it didn't look like that to me.
Yeah.
I've seen enough times when people have been flagged by accident, and I've seen enough times when people have been aimed at. I know the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think over time we're going to find out. I just hope it's not too late by the time we discover it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But one thing we should not do is do what the media is doing. Act like it doesn't matter anymore, you know? All right, let's talk about this one. It's only 6 minutes long. We don't have to do the whole thing. But they want to talk about Kamala Harris, so let's talk about Kamala Harris.
The media used to have a duty to accurately report the news, but after years of bias in their coverage, their own audience is laughing in their face.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is. No, I know. CNN makes a... I know
Is that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess it is.
The one time there's an honest, authentic laugh on that.
I call them the Comic News Network or the Comedy News Network.
Comedy News Network. Yeah, it's so fake. It's so bad, you know.
Laugh on that show when there's not a sign yelling applause and laugh is an unintended joke about the objectivity of CNN.
Vice President really sure how to go after Vice President Harris. He knew his attack lines on President Biden. He really has struggled with how to go after someone who's 20 years younger than him, who is a different gender, a different race. It's kind of been this moment where he has not been able to coalesce around a single attack line.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is. Oh, I know. CNN makes a. I know.
Was that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess it is.
Hopelessly biased CNN is. And this is an audience that watches this.
Yesterday, a Reuters Ipsos poll had Vice President Kamala Harris leading former President Donald Trump 44 to 42.
It's over!
Look.
I wouldn't party too early, though. I wouldn't party too early. Well, I'm gonna show you a video that's
Yeah.
it's too early to tell. Okay, let's listen a little bit more to this, and I'm gonna share a video with you.
Looks like it could take on Aussie breakdancer Ray Gun with those moves. But look, I'm just happy old Steve-O is smiling and dancing again because he was in a dark place not long ago. Remember this mad rant?
I know how numb we've become, but it's not normal. No other candidate for the presidency has ever had to pause his campaign to defend himself in multiple courts. And I would like to point out that in all 7 of his cases, no one doubts that he did these things. We're just sitting around patiently waiting to find out if the wheels of justice will grind fast enough for there to be any consequences.
Imagine how unhinged his little echo chamber must be if he genuinely believes the sham cases against Donald Trump are legitimate. You know, there's a reason why his poll numbers went up every time he was indicted. Even being convicted didn't hurt him with most voters. And that's because despite the efforts of CNN and co, most folks can recognise political persecution when they see it.
I had to mute you. You were echoing when the video was playing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for doing that.
Go
ahead. You were gonna say something.
It's like, well, of course his poll numbers went up because, you know, they're fake, and obviously people saw through their bull, and, you know, he's the most black president we've ever had.
Yeah. But her numbers have gone up too. But what's about to happen? Like, it's like some of the Biden's voters are like.
But see, this is the thing. Okay,
yes.
This is the thing you got to understand. The reason her numbers have gone up is because they're doing selective polling.
Yeah.
Just like they do with all these other polls and stuff of, you know, they're fudging the numbers. Okay?
Yeah.
They want the numbers to reflect one thing, to make you think something.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want you to think that, you know, guns are a problem, they're going to say, well, we're going to make the poll show this to this, so that way we're only going to take this small slice and section of what we're looking at, this narrow view, and that way we can prove our point. Whereas if you step back and look at the broader, bigger view, that's not the reality of the case at all.
Yeah, and I think that's what this video is going to show you. Like, Trump always underperforms the polls. So CNN and people are rejoicing now, thinking this is good news, but that's not the case. So so this poll here is fair.
Hey, Newt, what's up?
All right, let me mute myself here. All right, let's go.
point out we've kind of been here before. So
people are abandoning Trump and going to Kamala Harris, but that's just not true when you look at the actual numbers and the data. It tells you that, hey, Democrats might not want to celebrate too quickly, okay, because this thing is far from over, and Kamala Harris is not doing nearly as good as she should be doing.
I want to take a step back and sort of point out we've kind of been here before. So August 13th, how far were the polls off in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin? And this is in 2016 and 2020. Trump was estimated both times around and by significant margins. Take a look here. In 2016, the average poll in those states that I mentioned, those Great Lake battleground states, Trump was underestimated by 9 points on average at this point in 2016. How about 2020? It wasn't a one-off. Look at this. He was underestimated by 5 points on average. And of course, Kamala Harris's advantage in those New York Times Siena College polls were 4 points in each of these key battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. The bottom line is this. If you have any idea, if you're a Kamala Harris fan and you want to rip open the champagne bottle, pop that cork, do not do it. Donald Trump is very much in this race. If we have a polling shift like we've seen in prior years from now until the final result, Donald Trump would actually win. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I am saying that he is very much in this ballgame based upon where he is right now, and compare that to where he was in prior years.
Yeah, and again, this is why conservatives should not be panicking. Okay, there's a lot of doom and gloom. People say, oh, Trump's advisors. Oh, Trump needs to change his strategy. Oh, Trump needs to do it. No. The strategy is the same strategy that the Republicans, that Trump used against Biden, right? Which is to talk about the fact that, hey, this person is not answering any questions, first and foremost, because that speaks to their competence and their ability to lead. And then second of all, to stick with the policies, right? And to talk about the disaster that this administration has been. Now, Trump historically has underperformed in the polls. This is something I've reminded you guys almost every single time that I've talked about polls, which is that the proper way to read them is to take whatever number they give Trump and to bump it up by 2, 3, 4. And in this case, CNN is suggesting up to 9 points, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
In response to Janie's comment here, not just the most unpopular VP, she couldn't even get enough votes in the primary election to move forward. She dropped out before the first wave.
Crazy.
Okay.
Now she's the savior.
Like, I mean, come on. Like, really? You're kidding me, right? This woman couldn't get enough votes in the primary to make a bid for the presidency. And now you're telling me she's the most popular ever or the best candidate ever?
That's what we're supposed to believe now.
Like, okay. And she's going to beat Trump. Right.
Yeah, they are in for a rude awakening. I think the honeymoon phase is about to calm down. The honey is going to come out of the moon eventually, and everybody's feet's going to be on the ground because they're going to come to realize, and there's a lot of people who are supporting Trump who are quiet right now. When these people begin to vote, that's when they're going to see a massive shift. So, yeah, let them party for now because party's about to be over. Yeah, as we get closer to the election day. So, yeah.
In which they can be off, right, on average, specifically in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. That's a big, big, big deal. That seems to suggest that these polling firms have issues actually getting Trump supporters to respond to the polls, or maybe you have some people that are closet Trump supporters that are not comfortable telling people that they support Trump. We know for a fact that this effect exists, right? So right now, again, that's why I'm not super concerned at all. I'm like, I think we're in good shape, right? We're in really good shape considering how Kamala Harris hasn't faced any criticism. She hasn't answered any questions. She hasn't faced any type of adversity, but yet she is severely underperforming Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Okay, and also on top of that, you always have to account for the fact that the polls don't do a good job at really measuring Trump's support.
We certainly heard the Harris campaign saying we have to keep fighting.
Absolutely.
This is definitely not over. All right, let's talk about enthusiasm and how that translates actually. We are quite a ways out, again, 3 months about.
Yeah, you know, yesterday I was mentioning, you know, the enthusiasm for the Democratic ticket was up. Yep. But that enthusiasm is not the same thing as going out to actually vote. And there's a different question, which essentially says, how certain are you actually going to go out and vote? And this is the top range. Almost certain to vote. Again, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. This is among registered voters. Look at this. Look at Kamala Harris now compared to where Joe Biden was back in May. In fact, 62% of Joe Biden voters said they were almost certain to turn out and vote. Now,
it's gone down.
It's actually gone down a little bit. I would call this in the same general area at 61%. But it's basically unchanged. And look at Donald Trump. He was at 58% in May. He's actually gone up a little bit now. He's at 60% now. Again, basically no real change. So the bottom line here is, yes, there may be more enthusiasm for Kamala Harris, but the fact that we're not seeing that necessarily translate.
That's a huge change in a presidential election that's this close. Come on, man.
That's a huge change. Yeah, that's a huge change. And what he's about to say here is crucial. Trump is more popular than he was in 2016 to 2020. Yeah. His fan base is strong. Like the mega base, they are not going anywhere. And not only that, they're not shifting their views. And not only that, the people that are coming in are increasing. So Trump is actually doing much better than what these people want us to believe.
Yeah.
That's what the polls doesn't really tell the whole story.
That's why I say they're taking a very narrow slice when they take these polls. They're taking a very narrow view and taking very selective polls.
They're going to have that same reaction and result that happened in 2016 with Hillary. They thought Hillary was dominating the thing. And then when we got to the end, they're like, Trump won. It's like, how did he win? It's because the polls were playing around. And I think when they play around with polls like that, it's not good. Because you're not getting the whole story, and people are going to vote based on these emotions. Like,
that's how people get mad. And we end up with summers of love.
Yeah. Not my president. Not my president. It's like, okay, sounds like an insurrection to me.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Where, you know, versus a guided tour.
Yeah. A guided tour and an insurrection.
Did you hear about the filing of... They had to actually give him back his helmet and his spear. The shaman guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
After all that they've done,
after all they did to him, they actually had to give him back his helmet and his spear with the horns and everything.
But the guy was praying inside of the main room. Like, how is this guy?
He was escorted in there by police. Like legit. He was legit escorted in there by police. It was on camera.
This makes no sense.
And he filed a lawsuit to get his helmet and his spear back.
Give it back.
He won the lawsuit, and they have to give it back now.
That's good. Yeah, I think they all should be freed. If you were to ask me, all of them should be freed. Yeah, that's what I would do. Anyway, let's listen.
Turn to vote. And one little other note, Sarah. I will note this: Donald Trump is more popular today than he was on August 13th in either 2020 or 2016. So
wow. Take a picture of this one. Take a look. Take a look, somebody. So, I mean, there goes your next president.
The proof is
this is why they're trying to put a bullet in his head. This is why. They can't change that. This is reality. So they can jump and howl and scream and yell for all the honeymoon phase. That's only momentary.
What's the saying? Facts don't care about your feelings.
Than he was on August 13th in either 2020 or 2016. So the bottom line is, yes, Kamala Harris is doing better in the polls, but there's a long way to go. The polls can shift. The almost certain to vote hasn't actually shifted, and Donald Trump is more popular than he was at either 2016 or 2020 at this point.
Those are interesting data points, Harry Enten. Thank you so much.
Wow. Again, this is something they don't talk about. They're not going to tell you this. Trump is more popular than he's ever been. Okay? Now, what have we heard in the media and from a lot of the doom and gloom conservatives on the internet? It's really been nothing but negativity, right? A lot of trashing Trump, a lot of criticizing of Trump advisors. Oh, Trump shouldn't say this, he shouldn't say that. And it's like, no. Trump is more popular than he's ever been before. What are you talking about? Trump is doing fine, right? What's happening right now is that Kamala Harris is essentially getting back to support
the gentleman in the pledge
that the Democrats lost because people didn't want to vote for Joe Biden, right? Because he was clearly and obviously not capable of continuing to be president. But that doesn't mean that Kamala Harris is some exciting candidate that, is going to result in a record amount of Democrat voters coming out and supporting her overwhelmingly and flipping Trump supporters in droves. That's not what's happening. All these rallies, if you look at the footage, who's showing up to these rallies? The weirdos of the Democrat Party, right?
Anyway, we can go on in that. I want to quickly share this video. Oh man, I know we have a few things on our list. Carrie Lake did a response video to the media about the way they're reporting the news and Kamala Harris and everything. But where's that video at? Where's that video at? Don't worry, I'll find you. Oh, goodness. I mean, X is on fire right now. X is extremely on fire right now. Oh, there you go. There goes the video of
Kamala Harris.
This is what Kamala Harris voters sound like. And this is not, no disrespect. These are human beings. Jesus loves them. But I want you to think about the thinking. The thinking is what I'm talking about. All right, let's take a listen.
Why are y'all voting for Kamala Harris?
I don't want to lose my rights. I'm a trans man and I'm gay and I have been pregnant and I've had an abortion before and I don't want to lose that. I'm afraid of not being able to be myself anymore because from what I've heard, Trump's America doesn't want me to look like this. So that's why I'm here today and that's why I'm voting blue.
What about you?
I've also been pregnant and had an abortion before. I was a minor and it would have been dangerous for me to properly, it would have been dangerous for me to carry a baby with personal reasons and everything. I also I'm very, alternative, and I feel like if Trump were to win, I wouldn't be able to express myself through my looks and everything, and wouldn't be able to have the piercings or the dyed hair or the tattoos that I want. I would be able to be myself, and my dad's very pro-Trump, and I'm just very
pro-Kamala.
Pro-Kamala, yeah. I don't, it's just,
Does that cause a divide at all?
yeah, it definitely does. He thinks that Kamala's going to ruin the country, but I think that Trump would do worse, a lot. Kamala is going to be good for the country.
Why are you?
Wow. That thinking here, and again, I'm not going after anybody's, future. I'm not the judge here. But the thing is, this is the thinking that is behind the Kamala Harris.
The mental gymnastics that you have to play.
Did you hear any policy, by the way?
No.
You don't.
Number one, you don't hear any policy.
None of it. It doesn't matter. It's just. That's just crazy.
It's possibly you could relate it to reproductive rights, quote unquote, but that's a stretch at the most.
Yeah.
But
Trump is even fair when it comes to that. He's moderate when it comes to this. He's not trying to take away your rights to do the very
just
thing
saying,
that God doesn't want us to do.
Leave it up to the states.
Leave it up to the states, right? And you can travel and get whatever done you want to done. I mean, even though it's wrong, I disagree with it, but you can still do it.
Yeah, we may not agree with it, but if it's not right in your state, go to a different state.
Yeah.
And just the mental gymnastics these people jump through it's
pretty sad.
Mind-boggling.
There was not a single policy mentioned. It's all about the way I feel, the way I look. And he's like, and again, the Democratic Party is running on this ticket of abortion and trans, and that's what they're running on. They're not running on fixing the economy, the border, the insurance.
What I want to ask these people is, if that's the case, she's already in office. Why doesn't she do it now?
Yeah. If she was that good, right? Because she has the power. She has the ability to do it.
She has the ability to do it now. Why doesn't she fix it now?
Yeah. But I love what Carrie Lake is about to do to the media. I want you to know this, what she's about to do. She's so good. Watch this.
Pleasure.
Yes, you can make all the Ted Lasso jokes you want. Quick question. As of right now, you're underperforming President Trump in the polls, who's either leading or tied in Arizona. How do you plan on getting some of the Trump voters to also vote for you in the in the general election.
Well, I think it's great for President Trump. It shows that Democrats and independents are flocking to President Trump. They've got a very stark contrast. What they're dealing with now under, I don't know who's running our country, and what they were dealing with President Trump, which was a strong economy, safe streets, great foreign policy, no new wars. And so people are flocking to him. I feel very comfortable with our polling. It's very close. It looks good. My internal polling actually shows me up. Yeah, it does. It does. And so I feel very comfortable. I think I'm going to catch up with President Trump. I mean, we have the greatest president ever in President Trump, so of course he's doing really well. And I believe that we're going to catch up with him, and he's going to win, and I'm going to win in November. And then in January of 25, we're going to get to Washington, D.C., and get to working for the people. Your name? And
Jamie Vera with Fox News. So this the Cook Political Report today shifted Arizona from lean Republican to toss-up. We're going to see Vice President Harris here tomorrow. Just wondering if you're concerned having Harris at the top of the ticket, if that could hurt Republicans at all, and if we need to have Donald Trump, or if you believe Donald Trump should come out here and campaign as well.
I think that Kamala Harris is actually less popular. If you can imagine this, Joe Biden is so unpopular in Arizona. I'm out talking to more people than all of you guys combined. I talk to more people every single week in Arizona, I think, than anybody. And because I'm a populist candidate who has a great relationship with the people. People don't like Joe Biden. That's pretty obvious. They like Kamala Harris even less. They understand that she hasn't done anything for the border. I don't really believe all the public polls. I've seen a lot of polls. I tend to like the ones that are the internal ones. That's the one where there's no BS involved. And so, you guys can try to create, like I said, it's like a makeover show, total makeover. You're trying to say that somebody who has done nothing for the border, called herself the border czar, has done absolutely nothing, is a San Francisco liberal who destroyed San Francisco. And you're trying to now all of a sudden act like she's the biggest superstar on the planet. And you can say that all you want. And there's a reason that your viewership and your subscriptions are just in the tank right now, because no one's believing the fairy tales that you're telling. And so say all you want and try to take this horrible ticket, the worst we've ever seen, and turn it into something special. The people feel it with their real lives. They can't afford to put food on the table. They're having to go to food banks to supplement, to make ends meet and feed their family. They know what it's about. And you can bring every, singer, rapper, actor, whoever you want to bring into the Democrat rallies. It's not going to change the fact that Democrat policies just don't work. They're devastating for individuals in this wonderful state and really across our country.
Facts. Man, Carrie Lake is a rock star.
She's a beast. Oh, man. I can listen to her all day. She has to fit somewhere in Trump's cabinet. She just has to fit. She's too good.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, the media is playing this thing. This is a psyop, right? It's a psychological operation. They're really trying to brainwash the masses and to help them to see. Like, the people who are going to fall for this are the people who really has no brain.
Yeah.
Because once you do have a brain,
the
you're like,
unintelligent masses who just follow the popular trend.
yeah. And once you do have a brain, you realize, wait a minute, who are you trying to play? You know what I'm saying? Like,
or
wow.
AKA sheeple.
Yeah, sheeple. There was a meme on YouTube, on TikTok I was watching the other day. It was really a show, but it was about like, before I did this, I didn't have a brain until I found out I got a brain. And then I started to use my brain. And when I used my brain, I realized it was pretty crazy. But I'm going to find it. Don't worry.
or the skit that JP does.
Yeah, similar
brain,
to what JP
it
did.
works for you.
Yep. Yeah. So it's pretty hilarious. So there are a few more. We're gonna bring this video to the channel. Before we do this, I want you to notice this remark coming from this guy. His name is Anton Daniels, and the question was asked to one of the panels, a person on the panels, at least a black girl. I don't know what I said. What is it about black women and their love for Kamala Harris? It's like they're not even thinking. Anyway, what he's about to say is almost like, oh gosh, what a uppercut to the jaw. But it was facts, because once he's done checked her, everybody else had to stay quiet. Watch this.
Let me ask you a question. Would you vote for?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm going to just be real honest with this. She's a black woman.
Yeah.
Because they skin folk, not Kim folk.
I think it goes back to what somebody was saying, where it's not voting for someone, but majority will vote for somebody else just to
Hold on, wait. Hold on. Let me mind this out.
I think
Is
majority.
it only because she a black woman?
Yeah.
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
Okay, so we're in 3 proxy wars with some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they are in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco, ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they've taken up resources as far as free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this. We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage, because inflation is fucking out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city that you in. She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more black men than ever before. But we sitting here and vote her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during a debate, which shows you how fake she is. And the only thing that we can stand on from a policy perspective is whether or not she's black and she's a woman. We did that during the Obama administration, and he didn't do anything for black people. As a matter of fact, y'all complain because the only person that he did, or the only group of people that he really stood for, is the alphabet community, and that's his landmark thing that he's still standing on today. So the only thing that we have to stand on is identity politics. That shit didn't work with Tiffany Henyard in Dayton, Illinois. It didn't work with Karen Bass. It didn't work with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. It didn't work with Brandon Johnson that then took over her position in Chicago. It didn't work with Andre Dickens in Atlanta. It didn't work with Eric Adams in New York. It doesn't work across the country. Every single Democratic city is a hellhole. And we sitting here talking about identity politics?
Let me take a deep breath for him because he has not.
Brother got preaching there.
Friend, when you see black people are talking like that, no wonder why the Democrats should be terrified. Like this is a black panel that are most of them are conservatives. We have a few that are leftists, but majority of them, this is how they sound. Like they don't play. Anton's Daniel's channel is something you need to check out. He doesn't play. He tells it like it is. Yeah. And
but
that's why
it's all true. That's the thing.
Everything he said is factual.
He didn't say a single lie.
No. He knows what he's talking about. And when you say I'm voting for him because she's voting for him, because why would I vote for you because of your skin color? That makes me a racist.
Or your gender.
Or your gender. I don't care about that. Yes, from a black person perspective, it does feel good to see skin color in position. Well, you know what feels even better is knowing that they know what they're doing. Because it's one thing they're in position and not knowing what they're doing. Look what's happening to Illinois. And I like the fact that he spoke about Tiffany. And we're going to talk about Tiffany today.
Speaking of that.
Speaking of the super mayor.
Speaking of Miss Super Mayor.
Yeah. So we might as well talk about the super mayor since we are on that subject. Because for those of you who don't know, she's in trouble.
The village of Dalton is more than $3.5 million in the hole. That's the finding of an investigation into how city officials have been spending village funds.
Also tonight, more drama in Dalton. Credit card transactions amounting to thousands of dollars without explanation and millions more owed to vendors.
A bombshell report highlights just how much financial trouble the village of Dalton is really in.
Big bills with little accountability. That's the headline out of South Suburban Dalton tonight, where an investigation
investigation into Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administrations revealed more examples of taxpayer money used for questionable purposes.
Okay, last night we found out there is massive police corruption in Dalton, where the police chief is illegally getting massive amounts of overtime when he's not even eligible for overtime.
We thought it also important for you to know that Acting Chief Lacey has accumulated overtime. It's our understanding that he is not part of the collective bargaining unit and has not been for some time, which under normal circumstances would mean that he is not entitled to overtime. But as you can see here, for FY22, FY23.
So part of the collective bargaining unit means he is in a salaried position. His salary locked in. He doesn't get overtime. He gets paid a salary, point blank, period. This is what you get per year, no more, no less, for no matter how much you work.
Yeah, his finance house going up.
But for 2022, 2023, and 2024, and currently going into 2025, he's been getting paid overtime.
Wow. So there must be a serious relationship with that guy and her. Anyway, I want to keep listening.
I'm talking bribe.
Bribery. Okay. All right, let's keep listening.
And FY24, and we're now in fiscal year 2025. Through those 4 years, he's accumulated $215,747,000 just in overtime.
And if you think that's shocking, wait till you watch the rest of this recap.
Just the never mind. I'll let.
All right, so welcome to Dalton, Illinois, the most corrupt mayoral administration in America. Last night, we got the long-awaited financial report from Lori Lightfoot, and this is the preliminary report. But things are so horrible, and I'm going to say this again, so horrible, that you're going to hear the gasp and the oh my gods from the crowd, because the corruption is on full display. And we have the numbers to back it up. Now, first, got to give a shout out to the 12 or 13,000 people who watched live last night. The madness was crazy. Thank you for joining me. And for those of you who are hearing this for the first time, get ready to be shocked. Now, for those of you who like to listen to this in podcast form, we are now on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcast. Links are in the description, or go over to Spotify and check us out. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is whether the village is in compliance with state law. See, state law requires that the village in any municipality have audited financial reports, and they submit them to the office of the state controller. And the village of Dalton has not done that in the past 3 years, since 2022. So there have been no legally required audited financial statements, meaning the village is not in compliance with the law. Now, you would think the state would be all over this. Hey, what's going on? We need to know how you're spending your money. But it's Illinois, and no one is ringing the bell. Here is Lori Lightfoot explaining it.
The village's fiscal year runs from May 1 to April 30th. So it's those 12 months, but they spanned 2 years. Certain financial disclosures are mandated under state law that the village reports to the comptroller of the state each fiscal year. Two documents that we're going to talk specifically about are the annual financial report, and you see the citation there, it's a state law, and the audited financial statements. The village has not, and let me repeat that, the village has not complied with these statutory requirements since fiscal year 2021. There's no annual financial report available after 2021, and no audited financial statements after 2021. So what that means is the information that we're providing you has not been thoroughly audited by a CPA, But we do have information coming from an entity that essentially serves as the finance department of the village.
So the village's finances haven't been looked into for about 3 years, and Tiffany Hinyard has been running roughshod with it. So nobody knows how the money's being spent. Nobody knows how it's been spent. So this is the first time some independent party has looked at the finances to see what the condition of the village's finances are. So now the first thing Lori Lightfoot does is go into the bank accounts and says, okay, how much money did we have when we started? How much money do we have now? This slide shows you that when Hinyard started, she had about $5.5 million in the bank as of April 2022. And as of May 2024, they lost essentially $8 to $9 million. They lost $9 million, where now they are $3.65 million in the hole. What happened to that money? Here's Lori Lightfoot.
Is a graphic that depicts where we started as of April, where the village started as of April of 22, with positive of $5.6 million in the general fund, and where we are as of May of 2024, which is a negative $3.65 million.
Mayor Lightfoot, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Just kind of as a summary now, just quick numbers. So in a 2-year span, we're talking about a $9 million swing or $9 million of deficit over that course of time. Would that be most accurate?
Yes, sir.
So now Lightfoot's team had to figure out if this was because they were getting...
Wow. You know... I'm just sitting here. I'm just shocked because I didn't think it was that bad. You know, we were in the thousands, right? Deficits wise. What, 9 million?
9 million.
Yo, Super Mayor has been going shopping, vacation, extra security
you have
guards,
no idea.
billboards.
It gets
What
worse.
is going on?
It gets so much worse.
Don't tell me it does. Let's keep listening. I don't want to, because it's a long video, so let me be quiet.
Oh, yeah. It gets bad.
You can't be serious. This is what happens when you vote on skin color. She's young and she's black. That's why we voted for her. That's the problem.
Yeah, this is why we don't vote on identity politics.
Don't do it. Don't do it. This is why. You just look at qualification. Look at values and
like legit people went through. I actually dug in, and most people voted her in because of identity politics.
Yeah. DEI. Mm-hmm. And that a mess. All right, stick a listen.
Less money and let's say tax revenue? Or was it because spending was going out of control? So here's Lori Lightfoot explaining that it wasn't because you weren't getting less money, it was because you guys started spending like insano.
Again, as you see in the graph on the blue bars, the revenues have remained relatively the same over that time period, just over $24 million, while expenditures have climbed from $23 million in 2022 to $30 million in 2024. Ultimately, in fiscal years 2023 and 2024, expenditures exceeded revenue. Specifically in 2024, it was over $5 million more in expenditures than revenues.
Now, the numbers don't lie. When Hinyard first got in there in fiscal year 2022, $24 million came in. They were spending $23 million and had $1 million overage. Now, in 2024, they actually have more money coming in, $24.6 million. But they're spending $30 million. So where is that money going? How come when Hinyard got in there, they suddenly had this huge budget deficit every year? Essentially $5 million of more money. So your next question is, well, where the hell is all this money going? Well, it's going to a couple of people. First, we got to talk about the police department because it seems like they're being paid off massively. There is massive police corruption. First, let's start with the officers who are being paid more in overtime than their base salary.
We wanted to highlight for you, particularly given overtime, what we saw as two outliers in officers, Officer Terry Young and Officer William Reed. Both of these individuals in the last 2 years.
Does one of those names sound familiar? Mr. Terry Young? You're muted.
Yeah, Terry Young, definitely.
Yeah. He was the one that got 36 hours in 2 weeks, which is virtually impossible if, you actually want to sleep and live.
Yeah. No, isn't it 80? 80 more than that. It was more than 36. Yeah. The man didn't pretty much didn't go home. He stayed with her 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know which wife is going to allow that to happen if he does have a wife.
Just saying, I mean, that's a familiar name we've seen before.
Yeah, we certainly have. And these are things we something's not adding up.
Yeah, none of this is adding up. And Wayne, you think this is bad?
Nah, you can't. It's worse than this?
What do you think the governor of Illinois' salary is?
Much less than hers, that's for sure.
Much less than all of theirs.
Oh, you gotta stop it. She's like $200,000.
Oh no. Go.
Okay.
He gets into it.
Have earned more in overtime than their base compensation.
To show you how much money that is for a patrol officer, the governor of Illinois, his salary is $184,000 a year. These officers are making more than the governor of the state. Think about that, people. 2 cops, patrol officers, in a town of 20,000 people are making more money than the governor of the state of Illinois. And no one said, that's a little fishy. Now, if you've been watching this channel and watching this Super Mayor series, you know the name Terry Young. Terry Young is the officer who was exposed a year ago for questionable, and I'm going to say questionable, overtime usage. Watch the report again.
Officers are paid every 2 weeks, which without overtime is 80 hours. But when they're put on Henyard's detail, that 80 hours balloons to well over 100 hours, sometimes 200 hours. And in the case of Officer Terry Young last May, 303 hours worked over a 2-week period.
Wow, this is why they work hard.
Yeah, right?
Hard-working man.
He working hard for that money.
Oh, you don't go home. You don't even sleep at night. You don't even take a break.
Unless he's sleeping in the same bed as somebody.
Somebody's not telling the truth. Oh, golly.
I mean,
that is ridiculous.
When they're making more than the governor of the state.
When you're making more money than the governor, that tells me a whole lot of things is going on here.
Yeah.
Wow. So, in the real world, Tiffany Young would have been behind bars and thrown away the keys. But since we are talking about identity politics, she's black and her gender, you can't do that. That's going to be considered racist. So, but I'm not sure that's going to work anymore because it seems like
the tides are turning.
Wrong. Yeah, the tides are turning because her own people are turning against her. Remember when she made that video like, you black, It's like, what does that have to do with the facts that you corrupt? Anyway.
And why does she need to keep the entire police staffed constantly with her at all times?
This is why when black people are talking about they're going to vote for Kamala Harris, that right there is exactly what Anton Daniel was speaking about. You're going to have the same exact reaction and the same exact results, or even worse, from Kamala Harris than what you
put that onto the national debt.
Yeah. Imagine the whole country experiencing this.
On a national level.
Study. Yeah, this is a case study for every person who want to vote on skin color.
Or gender identity.
Anyway, some of us, who are we talking to? Preach it to the choir. Anyway.
Period. That resulted in a single paycheck of more than $13,000.
How does a person put in a 2-week pay period, 303 hours? That's impossible. That's impossible.
336
Does he never go to sleep?
In fact, there are 336 hours total in 2 weeks, meaning Young was not being paid for only 33 hours over that period.
Yeah, in a full 2-week period, it's only 336 hours. He got paid for 303 hours. That's impossible. It's obvious corruption. It's obvious corruption. And that's why he's on this report. And that's why this town seems to be millions of dollars in the hole. But I also have to mention the police chief, who is not eligible for overtime. Guess what he's getting? Massive amounts of overtime, which essentially, again, in my opinion, looks like theft.
We thought it also important for you to know that Acting Chief Lacey has accumulated overtime. It's our understanding that he is not part of the collective bargaining unit and has not been for some time, which under normal circumstances would mean that he is not entitled to overtime. But as you can see here, for FY22, FY23, and FY24, and we're now in fiscal year 2025, through those 4 years, he's accumulated $215,747,000 just in overtime.
So then the village board of trustees
just in overtime, that's more than the governor of the state.
Just in overtime, not even working.
Just in overtime, not his regular salary. That just in overtime that he's not eligible for.
Some serious working, hard working black men going on there, man.
Uh-huh.
I need to move over there. Get ministry and doing it for your boy. I'm like, boy, public servant. Oh, goodness, I need a whole new career. It's just crazy to me. I'm a little bit jealous here. If this is how much money these guys are making under Tiffany Hayward, I mean, come on now. Come on, Darth Vader. We're moving to Illinois. We're moving.
Well, you'll benefit from it. I won't.
Well, if you're willing to identify as black, it might work out.
Oh, well, maybe.
He said maybe. All right, let's go on.
Chief on administrative leave pending an investigation. He's getting paid overtime and he's not even eligible for overtime. $200,000 in overtime. The police chief said, well, he's not going to be put on leave and kept coming to work, so the board fired him. Here's that announcement.
Well, once again, based on the board's directive, different individuals aren't following the board's directive. There was a deputy chief that was placed on administrative leave. He disregarded that and showed up the very next day. He then received a notice that he was terminated, and he despite being notified that he was terminated and in discussions with the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, he again showed up today.
So as you can see, the acting chief doesn't want to go. He knows he's in a lot of trouble and is refusing to be fired. But now, since he's officially been terminated, he's not a police officer. And he's now technically impersonating a police officer. So we'll see how that all plays out. All right, we have a lot more explosive stuff to go over. We haven't even touched on the $40,000 spent on Amazon in one day for someone's personal account, which we're about to go into. But before that, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Ethos. What? ethoslife.com/Nate. That's ethoslife.com/Nate. Okay, so we've just talked about how the police chief was getting overtime, even though he wasn't legally allowed to get overtime, it looks like. We were talking about how the officers were getting paid more than the governor. Patrol officers in a town of 20,000 people were getting paid more than the governor of the state. Now, with all this money going out, you would suspect that they were paying the bills, at least paying the bills. But Lori Lightfoot found they actually weren't paying the bills. Matter of fact, I think $6 million in bills haven't been paid. Check it out.
Based on the records that we have reviewed since March of 2023, the village has been unable to pay all of its monthly expenditures with available cash balance. Since that time, nearly every month, a portion of the checks approved and printed have been held by the village due to unavailability of funds. Per records from the John Kasperick firm, as of June 18, 2024, there are 589 checks totaling over $6 million that have been approved, printed, but not transmitted to vendors. And that is a big driver of the deficit in the general fund. This over $6 million in held checks. I want to caution.
Again, scale this up to a national level.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want a second depression?
That's what it's gonna look like.
Because that's what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
When we don't pay our bills and other countries come to collect their debt, we're gonna end up in a second depression or end up being part of another third world nation.
That's just crazy.
Like, this is a microcosm of a much larger problem.
Oh yeah. DEI doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Mm-mm.
And this is proof. This is point blank period proof.
Crazy.
Does not account for additional monies potentially owed by the village to vendors for which checks have not even been printed. These categories which we're looking into include, for example, invoices that have been received by village departments, but for one reason or another may not have been entered into the accounting system, which is called My Viewpoint. These invoices could have been entered into the accounting system, but not been approved by department heads or by the village administrator.
So just so we're clear, absolutely clear, the village, Hinyard, has spent about $6 million in cash. They don't know where it went. But the bills that the trustees approved, the $6 million worth of bills that they said, pay these bills, cut these checks. Tiffany Hinyard and her crew cut the checks and then held on to the checks and never paid the bills. But the $6 million is still gone. So the question is, what happened to that money? What happened to that $6 million? So essentially, this is like a double whammy. The money's gone, but you still have the bills. And there's no money to pay those bills. This is an absolute disaster. And where the hell did all that money go? It didn't go to the vendors to pay the bills. So Lori Lightfoot said, well, let's just look at the accounts and see how much money's left in the accounts. And check this out. There's one account when Hinyard got in office had $2 million in it. That account now has less than $4,000 in it. You think I'm joking?
In addition to the main operating account, historically, the village has held its excess cash in an account known as Illinois funds. Illinois funds are interest-bearing accounts that are managed by the Illinois Treasurer's Office that allow municipalities to earn interest on their excess cash balance. The balance in the Illinois funds account as of June 30th was only $3,900. As of April 30th, 2020.
I can't take it anymore. This is poor management, and also,
is it poor management or is it deliberate?
Yeah, this is deliberate, ridiculous spending behavior. This it's obvious. Like, but the thing is, she had too much power over the finances of the county. That is another thing too. Like,
and the township.
Yeah. How did she even manage to get away with these spendings for so long and not be checked? I know the people were trying to slow her down. They did try. There were other meetings. They did. So that's why they're doing this. And this is.
But that's the thing. This is her checked. This is her being kept in check.
Yeah. That's the
Imagine if she was just allowed to run rampant.
Yeah, but the fact she was able to spend that much money
while being kept in check.
Yeah, while being kept in check. That's just crazy. I mean, she's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, super mayor.
Super insane.
That's just crazy.
Nut job. That balance was over $2 million. So the balance of excess cash has dropped by over $2 million in that time period.
So Hinyard has essentially, the town literally has like a $6 million budget deficit and cannot pay all of the bills that it owes. Essentially, they're bankrupt. Matter of fact, here is Lori Lightfoot's team explaining it.
The monthly financial reports include a summary of the unrestricted cash balances of the village each month. Within these summaries, the balance reflected already accounts for those held checks that Mayor Lightfoot was just discussing, checks that have been issued but haven't cleared because they haven't been sent yet to vendors. What you can see on the chart is that
Like, I want to share something quick. We're gonna come back to this. It didn't take long for me to realize that this girl was corrupt, right? All it took for me was this video. Remember this video?
Handle anything as it relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
Ha, boy. No comment.
What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
You're not going to answer how taxpayer dollars are being spent? That seems odd.
I just answered it. What do you mean? I just answered your questions.
You said you wouldn't answer about Las Vegas.
You asked me a question and I responded.
We can't band together at this time, at this moment. This is going to be Black History Month, right? Y'all all say Martin Luther King had a dream, but guess what? I am the dream.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. Black History Month. Of course I'm going to give away $1 million to help you pay your mortgage and your rent. Of course I am. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. We getting scrutinized in the media. For what? Loving on the people, showing them that they matter to us. We going through the fires for y'all. It's Black History Month. As the first African-American female mayor of Dalton, of course I'm misunderstood. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh boy. Okay, homegirl. Okay, homegirl. We're looking at the checks now. Y'all black.
The proof is in the pudding.
The proof. Y'all black. Y'all black. That doesn't matter now. Doesn't matter now.
The proof is in the chocolate pudding.
There's no skin color that matters. Yeah, chocolate pudding. Oh, I like that. All right, let's keep going.
the unrestricted cash balance of the general fund has dropped from almost $5 million as of April of 2022, and it is now accounting for all of the checks that have yet to be sent, is now in a deficit position of over $5.5 million as of May of 2024.
Now, we haven't even gotten to some of the craziest stuff yet. The credit cards. Now, Lori Lightfoot and her team went and got the credit card receipts. And Hinyard and her team were hiding these so much that they were even hiding it from the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General's office said you have to turn over these. They didn't turn it over to them. But Lori Lightfoot got them. And they are explosive. Let's look at some of the things that Hinyard and her team were doing with the town's credit cards.
We want to highlight a couple of credit card purchases.
The people are melting down, boy.
Wouldn't you? You see this being charged to your credit card that you paying taxes on?
Yeah, look at that.
33,000 on Amazon, 4,000 on Amazon, 5,000 on Amazon.
What is she buying? What are you buying on Amazon that costs 33,000? It must be a whole lot in one. Maybe she has
or designer
full of stuff. Yeah, maybe she got some hair. Somebody say that's her hair. She paid for it.
Mm-hmm. And then you got Wayfair that's like $8,000.
Yeah, I like Wayfair. We got like a couple of stuff for the kids' bedroom from Wayfair. So I'm a fan.
A couple of things, but
$8,000. So that means she's furnishing her house. That's what's going on here. This is like TV. This is like bedroom stuff. Yeah. You want to find out what's happening? Go to her house. You find some, get a warrant, and you find the rest of the money from the town. But it's possible that she's buying for other people too.
1,200, 14, almost 20,000 from Best Buy.
Wow. Yeah, these are flat screen TV. I can see a PS5 here for my son, for my nephew, and my cousin, for Shakira, for for Shaniqua and also
Right.
I can see it. I can see it. Y'all going in. Wow. No one black woman should have that much power, like they say. That's just too much power for her
Two
to handle.
purchases, exactly $505.95 at Walgreens.
Wow.
So whatever it was, she made the same purchase twice. What's she buying at Walgreens? It's exactly $505.95.
Yeah, they say same exact thing twice. So one for herself, one for somebody else, or I don't know. I'm just guessing. Anyway, wow, the girls love going shopping. All right, yeah.
You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw this. A couple of credit card purchases. You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw this. So in particular, we were very concerned to see the top 3 purchases that were highlighted for you that were booked on January 5th of 2023. That's roughly $40,000, a little more than that, in credit card purchases on Amazon in the same day. And our understanding is that the Village does not have an Amazon account. These are somebody using one of the credit cards and charging these amounts using your tax dollars. We suspect we're going to see, as you can see, expenditures at Target, Walgreens, Best Buy, a number of charges that raise questions in our mind. Are these legitimate purchases using the credit cards?
As you hear, the crowd was shocked. On one day, they spent $40,000 at Amazon. Remember, this is the Village's credit card. You're supposed to only use this for things necessary for the Village. Number one, they didn't use the Village's Amazon account. They used someone's personal account and used the credit card to buy all of this stuff. Best Buy, Walgreens, Wayfair. What's going on? And there's no receipts to tell you what this stuff was. You know, at my old job, if I used a credit card for something for $2 and didn't have a receipt for it, that I had to pay for that out of my pocket. Not in Dalton. This is outrageous.
Else to come in to show that we've been trying to stop this and we've been doing minimal damage. So could you have imagined if we just sat up there and approved everything that was going on? Because she's gonna ride off in her BMW and we'll still be here stuck. We have been financially raped. And when people rape people, they get anything they deserve.
Wow, that's sad. But the truth is, I'm still questioning the practice. Like, how did she even have a credit card in hands and was allowed to spend that amount of money? Like, for example, like where I work in the conference, right? If I want to spend money, I gotta spend my own money. Like, I spend my own money and then I turn in the receipt and then I get reimbursed. And that has to be approved based on the spending. If I'm spending money outside of something personal, they don't have to support that. But if I'm spending it on ministry, something to do with books and stuff like that, or Bible studies and stuff.
She's a super mayor, though.
Yeah, but she just have a card in her hand, direct access to the people's finance, just like that, going around and swiping by. That's just crazy, though. That makes no sense. Like, to me, it's like
cha-ching, cha-ching, charge it.
Yeah, it should not even be allowed. She should be reporting, giving receipts, and then get reimbursed
One
for
would
what she's
think.
spending. And all it has to be approved before she can even spend it.
Yeah.
That's the way it works in my world. But anyway,
You know, this way it logically works in most places, but not in
Dalton
Dalton.
gotta make some changes to their policies as well in the way that they manage money. They gotta make some changes.
But like the woman said, this is them with trying to keep
her
it
accountable.
under control.
Yeah, but it's already out of control. When you lost 9 million.
But imagine if they didn't try to keep it under control. Imagine if they didn't try to rein it in, how much they would have lost.
All right, you made a good point. You made a good point, my man. All right.
All right, so that was an overview of the report. If you want to see the full thing, go to the Dalton Trustees page and have the full presentation. I'm going to be uploading.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. But man, it was just crazy. And then you turn around and go to her a few days or weeks, whatever later, and she's throwing another fundraiser or gift thing in the police parking lot, giving away gift bags and backpacks and all this other stuff, thinking, oh, this'll smooth things over. Yet
There
nobody's there.
There she is. Super Mayor. Yeah. And he's gonna say
no, go back.
You wanna see this, right?
Yeah, see that part. Yeah.
Yeah. He hired her because of her skin color.
He
pretty much.
Well, he didn't hire her. He nominated her.
Nominated, okay. Because she's young and she's black.
Because the people who put Hinyard in place, the voters, and even the people in Thornton Township who nominated her, explicitly said they nominated her and they put her up in this position because she was a woman and she was young. Matter of fact, here's the person who actually nominated her for the supervisor of Thornton Township saying exactly what I'm saying. He nominated her because of what she is, not really who she is.
Put us in Chris Gonzalez's mind 12 minutes before midnight. What was your thinking in nominating her after this long process?
I mean, just as a whole, I just felt that I was hoping we could get somebody that was a little bit younger for the role. I felt it was time that maybe possibly, and I mean, I wasn't like honed in on that, but a woman. I just thought that would be somebody that was a little bit younger, a woman. So that's kind of where I was. I'll be honest, I really didn't know at that time a whole lot of the, that there was already some controversy and things like that, a little bit that was going on in Dalton, say. Sure. So I didn't really know about that. And that was also something that, I mean, obviously there, just on the surface, there was a little bit of experience there. She had been a trustee, just became mayor. Kind of a town that you might have had as a base as far as just like, once again, coming from that there might be some experience and things like that there. Yeah. She went straight to Frank's office and, sat in the chair and she just kept basically yelling, what are they going to think now? What are they going to say now? Speaking of the Dalton trustees, because I guess, like I said, there was already a rift and I didn't know that. So I'm thinking I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And then so I went to Keith on the side and I said, what is she talking about? I said, is the board against her in Dalton? And he said, yeah. And I said, who? He's like, everybody. And he was like proud of it. And at that time, I mean, I already was like, what did I do?
You know what he did? He put somebody who was absolutely unqualified into a position who he knew nothing about. As he says, he knew nothing about. I thought I might have known some stuff. And the thing that drove him, the two things he knew was that she was a woman and she was young. And maybe that might work. Well,
there goes the problem. When are we going to learn?
This is what happens when you go for identity politics.
Exactly. There she is bragging. There she is right there. There she is.
All right, come on in, residents, come on in. Hey y'all, it's your the people's mayor and the people's supervisor. Today is our back to school event here in the village of Dalton for Thornton Township. So Thornton Township residents, if you're watching this, pull up. Everything's free. We got a whole activities, things for your kids to do.
Now, Tiffany Hinyard thinks the people of Dalton and Thornton.
She's buying her ways into the hearts of the people.
She's trying.
Yeah, well, that's not gonna
But
work.
you know
The
what?
evidence.
I think the people are so pissed at her. Look at, there's nobody there.
There's hardly anyone.
Yeah.
This is the facts right there. That right there should have been bigger than that.
And not to mention the fact that I think this is probably also partly maybe a sting operation for her detractors, because this was held in the police parking lot. She mentions that later on in the video.
Okay. Let me see.
We're riding right now, as you can see, right here in Dalton. We right here at the old Melanie Fitness / the new Dalton Police Station. The bouncy houses, let me go. I'm gonna show y'all everything that your kid can do. This is going on today. I gotta get it out because you know everybody keep running up to me. So I gotta try to get it all out to y'all. So they can come. Again, this is here in the village of Dalton. Hey, got all the bouncy houses for the babies. Remember, I told you, they new to this. I'm true to this. Yeah, keep it going. Because at the end of the day, y'all looking for me? Y'all looking for me? I told y'all I'm outside. Oh, I stay outside. Y'all talk all that mess. Nobody, I'm always outside. All right, now I'm going to be where the food at, because I told you everything free. When you come to any of Tiffany Henry's productions, it's free. You don't need anything. All right, guys, we out here again. The village of Dalton, 14900 Greenwood, Dalton. This is what we do. And they get their blue bags over here and turn it around. This is where we at. Because I always want our kids to always remember, never, never, ever give up. You're going to always have people that's against you. You're going to always have people hating on you. You're going to always have people that got something to say, but ain't willing to stand in the fire. So all I can tell.
Yeah, she's gonna put God in that conversation too. That's the one I'm like, really? I don't know what the
Oh
Lord has
yeah. Oh yeah, she do.
Yeah, let's take a listen.
At the end of the day, that's what we need in this world, love. It's so much hate that it don't make no sense. But I want the kids to see their super mayor still standing throughout all the controversy. Their super mayor that's touchable, reachable, and you can talk to me when you see me. So that's what I try to show them. And the kids ain't did nothing but just love back on me like I love on them. So I appreciate you all for coming out. All the events that I host, you can bring your kid. You don't need no babysitter. You gotta drop them off. I make sure it's possible that you can actually let them go run around and wear they stuff out. And then when they get home, they just drop. You know, I'm a parent too, so I know what that feels like. So bring them out, have a good time, come and learn something, and come always make sure you got facts versus fiction. Because at the end of the day, my work speaks for itself. And I've been showing y'all, but at the end of the day, you gotta want to see what it is that I truly do, which is love on the community. And remember this, because you know election time coming up. Remember this. You ain't never seen none of these elected officials in your life, or people that want to be these posers. I can't stand a fake politician. They only come up and show up when it's time to run. They ain't done nothing for 4 years. 4 years that went by, y'all. 4 years. And they ain't done nothing but keep up chaos, keep up division, keep up controversy. Pay attention to that. Focus on those that's doing the work for you. That's it. All right, see y'all in a minute. I love y'all. Woo! Super Mayor. Remember they said that I'm hiding. I'm outside. I'm always outside. I'm always reachable. Love you. Share the video. Let people know to come out. Everything's free. Going on from 3 to 7 p.m. here in the village of Dalton. Let me end this video. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Greenwood, Dalton. This is what we do. This is what I try to show them. And the kids ain't did nothing but just love back on me. Like, at the end of the day, that's what we need in this world. Stay tuned. Come out. We here from 3 until 7 p.m. today. Making the way. And as y'all can see, I am so family oriented. I care about the youth. This is what they don't tell you or what they don't show you. The youth is everything, and y'all have to pass the baton. I don't care about all the hate that they spelling, because at the end of the day, you got to lead with love. When you lead with love, you will always go further in life. Because at the end of the day, that's what we need in this world, love. It's so much hate that it don't make no sense. But
wow. I mean,
you can lead with love without bankrupting your wallet.
I say, if this was love, you would not have done what you did to the people, you know. So yeah, you might be manipulating the people and getting the kids to believe in you. Well, they don't know anything. They being hurt too in the long run, you know.
I believe there's a verse that says, "Spare the rod, spoil the child."
Yep. Yeah, she reminds me of First Timothy chapter 6, where he speaks about. Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, for godliness with content is great gain. Having food and raiment, therefore, to be content. For we brought nothing into this world, and as it is certain, we can carry nothing out. There it is. For the love of money, this girl is driven by this. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they've erred from the faith, pierced themselves through with many sorrows. That's exactly what I was thinking about. I'm like, this girl loves some money. It's okay. You can admit it and be honest, but she has not admitted to anything that's wrong. With all the stuff that is against her, she hasn't admitted a thing. She's just the devil hates me. They're just attacking me. They hate. He's like, no, there's some real reasons why. We have numbers and receipts, lady. We have credit cards, payments. Like, what are you talking about? Like, are we supposed to just overlook all of that and just say they hate you just because of what? What they hate you for? These are your own people. Like, if they were all white people, you probably would have had some reason. You would have gotten some people to believe you. But when you got black people against you that are in your own town, that is not something. You know what I'm saying? We bring Lori Lightfoot to investigate this matter, who is a Democrat herself, not a Republican.
And got booted from office.
And got booted from office, but she did a terrible job herself. But she didn't do that bad of a job, at least. But
I mean, come on.
I mean, when it comes to policies, she did. But if you got these people against you, girl, I don't know what else to tell you. You done messed up.
Yeah, you done
really
sank your shit bad.
Yeah, you're really in a bad shape.
Like,
all right, well, let's bring our man in here. JD Vance. Ooh, there goes ourselves some serious, powerful stuff going on here.
And on the question of when he left the National Guard, he filed his election paperwork February 10th, 2005. That was a month before the National Guard even announced that it was possible that they would deploy to Iraq, and it ended up being 2 months. He retired 2 months before they actually got the paperwork.
But on CNN last night, Dana, one of the people who was actually in charge of him said they knew they were going to deploy to Iraq in February of 2004, fall of 2004. So he knew he was going to Iraq. He decided to quit, to retire, whatever word you want to use.
Retire.
Because he wanted to run for Congress. He lied about that. He said that when he decided to retire, he did not know that he was going to Iraq. That is another untruth, as even his senior military officer said. So again, I'm not criticizing the service. I'm criticizing the dishonesty. Dishonesty spoken in favor and for the purpose of political benefit. And I think that the most important thing here, Dana, is it goes to Kamala Harris's judgment. Tim Walz is ultimately going to be the vice president. Kamala Harris is in great health. I'm sure she's going to be president if she wins for 4 or maybe even 8 years. Why did Kamala Harris choose a person who has lied about their military service? I think that is a serious lapse in judgment. And I don't want to hear from a campaign spokesperson of Kamala Harris. I want to hear Kamala Harris herself address what I just said.
You know, I've seen a lot of statements from veterans, including those you served with, saying it's just untoward to be criticizing somebody who served for 24 years.
Dana, I'm not interested in the ad hominem. I've heard from a lot of veterans groups who criticize Tim Walz. The question is, he said he served in war, and he didn't. That is a dishonesty. I couldn't care less what one or the other person says about it. I care about what the truth is. The truth is that Tim Walz didn't tell the truth. And importantly, Dana, this is about Kamala Harris's judgment. And I think that when you ask, why has Kamala Harris allowed the border to be wide open? Why has Kamala Harris supported policies that have promoted the increase in inflation? I think it goes to the heart of her judgment, and I think that that's what we should be talking about.
One last question. Donald Trump didn't serve in the military. He received a medical draft deferment for bone spurs to avoid serving in the Vietnam War, reportedly as a favor to his father. Do you find that shameful, too?
I think that Donald Trump didn't serve in the military, but he didn't lie about it, Dana. I've known Donald Trump for a long time. He really honors our veterans. He honors me for my service. Donald Trump didn't lie about serving in the military. He didn't say that he went to Vietnam when he didn't. This is the problem. I don't criticize anybody. Whether they served our country or not, I think it's honorable to serve, but obviously a lot of people have reasons for not serving. I criticize somebody for embellishing their record, for lying, saying, I went to war. Dana, do you think that it's a problem that he said, I went to war, but he didn't actually? That seems to be a problem to me.
Well, they've corrected that. Let's move on to...
They've corrected it by...
Let's move on to another...
You caught that? Let's move
Oh
on.
my word! They corrected that. Let's move on. Oh,
But
please!
you know that when at the moment he turned the sword against her, what did she do? She moved on. She's
Yeah.
sitting here carrying water.
Like
This
this
is not
woman is
journalism.
unbelievable.
But this is
Like
what
I
they
am,
all are doing.
I'm sitting
This
over
is-
here just gritting my teeth listening to this right now.
This speaks to the condition of our media. This is the American media today. This is what it looks like.
Clown
They
News
are really
Network.
protecting. Yeah, it's fake news. Comments News Network, right? Like, she's not trying to get to the facts. She's here to defend the Democrats. She's got her talking points.
Mhm.
So she's here to attack him. And I don't know why she even bothered bringing Trump in the conversation.
Yeah,
Like, what-
Trump had
what happened
nothing to
this?
do with this. Trump never
What
lied
about
about
him?
his
Like,
service or
that's just
anything. He didn't
crazy.
serve. He knows it. He never lied about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
and I love what he
here's
said.
the thing. Here's the thing,
He speaks to
people.
her judgment.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me lay this out for
I was
you.
gonna say, because you've served in the military, I would like to hear your input on this.
9 times out of 10, soldiers are going to hear through the pipeline, like, hey, look, you guys get ready because a month or two down the road, you're going to be getting deployed to X and place. So you need to prep your gear, get ready, do whatever you need to do to make sure you're ready to be in this area of operation. Fine. You do what you need to do. You get yourself ready to be in that area of operation. Tim Walz got that order. He found out his company was going to get deployed to Afghanistan, and he bounced as soon as he found out. He didn't wait. He didn't sit there until, the last second. As soon as he found out, he was out of there. Like his butt was on fire and his tail was catching. Okay? Like, he abandoned his men. Now,
yes, he did.
Keep in mind, he was a command sergeant major at the time. You go to a command sergeant major school, okay? You have to go to a school for this. It's similar to officer school, because when you're a command sergeant major, you're in charge of troops. You're in charge of a lot of troops. You are the one that decides what happens on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And you decide of how they're deployed. And basically, their lives are in your hands. So he was in an artillery unit. So he was in charge of an entire artillery battalion, I believe. So he got E9, which is Command Sergeant Major. But in order to maintain that as his retirement, he would have had to have served. He would have had to have gone to school, graduated the school,
for 2
and
more years, right?
served for 2 years in that position minimum
Yeah.
to maintain that status as an E9 to get that type of retirement and hold that rank and be
Yeah.
qualified as a command sergeant major of the Army. Okay?
Did not do it.
He did not complete that 2 years commitment. So therefore, according to his DD 214, when he left months before his troops deployed to Iraq, or I mean Afghanistan, sorry, he got it didn't happen right away. Okay? It took time because we were in the middle of the war, and the paperwork probably got lost in the sauce because it happened with a lot of people. But point being is he eventually got knocked down from an E9 to an E8. So technically he retired as a sergeant major, not a command sergeant major.
And that's okay. Just don't lie about it.
Exactly. And don't lie about going to war when you
never
didn't.
went.
And you abandoned your men.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here's the video you wanted. I found it.
Yeah.
JD Vance is just pull up on Kamala and answering question from the mainstream media while she's hiding.
Going to show dueling appearances by both tickets in the race to the White House. Just a moment ago, you saw Vice President Kamala Harris step off a plane in Wisconsin. Now we're bringing you this video. When we see it, you see it. This is the Republican nominee for Vice President, J.D. Vance. He just got off a plane on a tarmac there, addressing the media. He will now head to a manufacturing plant where an event will be right now.
Wisconsin actually trying to persuade people to vote for us as opposed to just giving another scripted speech. The questions? You did see the vice president. I saw her car. I did not see the vice president. The windows are tinted.
Did you get to speak with her? You didn't get to speak with her?
I did not speak to her. No, I think she was trying to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. But I did speak to a lot of the press gaggle following her.
Do you think it's effective to essentially tail her trail the rest of this week or during this week?
Well, clearly we think it's effective because we're here, right? I mean, look, there are 6 or 7 states that are going to decide the entire election. We think it's important to get out there, to talk to people, to make the best case that we can. And obviously there's an element of...
That's a good look, man. That's a good look. That speaks volume. I have another one.
It shows they're not afraid of her.
No, they're not. Not at all. Here. But CNN is kind of like melting down over this one, but
this was a rather, shall we say, awkward moment. J.D. Vance approached Kamala Harris's Air Force Two while his plane and her plane were both on the same Wisconsin tarmac yesterday. Here was his explanation of what he was trying to do.
Hey guys, how are you? Good. I just wanted to check out my future plane, but I also wanted to go say hello to the vice president and ask her why Kamala Harris why does she refuse to answer questions from the media? And I also thought that the press gaggle following her might get a little lonely. I at least have enough respect for you all and for the American people you report to come and talk to you and to answer some questions. And so I thought her reporters might actually benefit from that as well. So had a little bit of fun. I don't think the vice president waved at me as she drove away, but I'm glad to have done it.
So far, I'm never going to question, politicians should talk to the media as blanket rule. However, I am a little curious, Isaac, what might have happened had he actually encountered Kamala Harris on the tarmac? How that would have gone down?
Yeah, we'll never know, I guess. J.D. Vance is obviously trying to have a better week for himself than he had last week, and has been getting covered for other reasons now. But I guess he saw the opportunity on the tarmac yesterday and decided to try for it. But
there are like 8 states that we're focusing on, so this could happen again in any of those places.
Sorry, Mr. Lispy, if you pull the stick out of your butt, it might actually help you actually see straight. He's doing just fine, thank you very much. Sorry, he doesn't need your advice. You're muted.
sorry, you said Mr. Listy. I didn't know that. That's what I didn't know what his name was. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know what his name is either. I'm just calling him Mr. Lispy, and telling him to pull the stick out of his butt is a rather mild term as to what I would think is there.
Mm-hmm.
If you get my drift.
Yeah. I get you. Wow. I mean, with the fake news media, they just can't handle anything. Like everything is a problem to them. Let's listen to them because they keep going at it.
Could happen again in any of those places anytime.
Well, he's kind of following her around.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the schedules,
And
right?
I would warn the Trump campaign, even though yes, you defeated Hillary Clinton in 2016. History is replete with male candidates overstepping their bounds against female candidates, and the backfire that can have, especially if you don't have a real plan, or even if you do. Yes,
Also,
it gets real creepy real quick if you make a mistake.
It does, and sort of also, like, what was his vision? He was just going to roll up on her, and Secret Service was not going to be like, dude, what's going on? I mean, it's bizarre.
Ask Senator Rick Lazio, right?
Right.
Senator Erskine Bowles.
Right.
Names that, yes.
Yes.
We have to dig deep. We have to dig deep here on that.
And it touches into, Walz said on Tuesday, not just weird, but creepy. That's what Democrats are going to want to try to play this into. And Doug, you're not a Democrat, but you're saying that.
Immature. It was so childish.
Okay, on that note.
You're immature. So childish. No, he came to speak to the media, and she's running from the media. So who's really immature?
Sorry, Mr. Lispy's creepy to me.
Well, I didn't know that's what his name was. All right, Liberty, have mine. All right, let's go on, man. Let's go on.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, I guess that's just how the internet works, right? No matter who it is, the moment they're announced, pretty much everything's gonna drop. I mean, we remember pretty much the exact same thing when Donald Trump picked JD Vance as his running mate. All of a sudden, all the JD Vance clips were popping up. And what did they have? The whole cat lady scandal and something about Mountain Dew. Oh no, how horrible. JD Vance supports families. What a terrible scandal, but that's what it was back then. Well, now it's Kamala and Tim Walz's turn, and boy oh boy, I gotta say there's no real comparison here. These are some actual scandals. This is what I'd call skeletons in your closet. Tim Walz is getting exposed as, frankly, a total fraud. Honestly, it reminds me a little bit of Joe Biden's background. I guess the Democrats are setting a little bit of a trend here. This Tim Walz guy is a total con man. Let me show you guys the scandals that are being unveiled. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so the Harris-Walz Democrat ticket here, well, they're starting to develop a brand. So far, they have a couple labels attached to them. That's BLM, violence, pro-crime, socialist. We'll add open border. We'll add cackling just for fun. You know, the labels are there and they are accurate, but I guess now we're adding a couple more labels. As Minnesota Governor Walz's history is now coming to light, apparently another label that we're tacking on here is now stolen valor. Take a look at this report right over here.
So you try to get this message out, but Minnesota's largest newspaper checks it out, says it's 100% true, but yet refuses to print.
When I hung the phone up, I said, what the hell is this, North Korea?
Back in 2005, a warning order went out to the 1st Battalion, 125th Field Artillery to mobilize for a mission to Iraq. At the time, Walz served as the unit's highest non-commissioned officer, but months later, Walz would retire from the Guard, avoid the deployment, and run for Congress. Tom Behrens was next in line for the position and was asked to take his place.
I was like, well, for Pete's sake, if this guy quit, and if I say I'm not going to do it, I mean, what the hell kind of leadership is that? If a company would say that we're going to deploy to Iraq or somewhere and you're going to be gone for whatever amount of time, and then the foreman just says, no, I'm not going. I mean, what does that say to the 500 people that work in that factory?
Behrens would go on to serve in Iraq on a nearly 2-year deployment as a command sergeant major. All while Walz began using that title as a congressman. Behrens says he first contacted Walz with his concerns, sending these letters to Washington. They all went unanswered.
But then we fast forward to the election in 2018 in Minnesota, and you try at that time to get people's attention with this story and also with what seems to be a very misleading statement that he continued to make about his service.
It kind of just sat there. You know, when he was a congressman, he bragged that he was a command sergeant, retired command sergeant major. I'm the highest ranking person ever in the House, and all this lie that he was telling. The state of Minnesota came out after 2018, after this was exposed, and they said, well, he can say that he served as a command sergeant major, but he can't say he's a retired one because he's not.
And that's what he was saying.
And he was saying that, and there was lots of public, lots of cards coming in the mail, for him to be elected. They said right on there he's a retired command sergeant major, just tooting his own horn, just hanging on the coattails of people that actually are command sergeant majors that went through all the process and put all the time in.
A spokesperson for the Minnesota National Guard said Walz wasn't able to retire as a command sergeant major since he failed to complete coursework and requirements related to the rank. Verified documents show the Army corrected his service record. Walz was reduced in rank to an E8 Master Sergeant after retirement and his conditional promotion. Alpha News again asked Governor Walz if he's using the Command Sergeant Major rank on his campaign website for political gain this year. A spokesperson said this has been in the news before and pointed us to a past story where Walz said, quote, "Normally this type of partisan political attack only comes from one who's never worn a uniform."
It's stolen valor is really what it is. I don't know of anybody else that's done what he's done.
So Tim Walz apparently, according to his own Army colleagues, people who served with him, well, he's apparently lying about his rank and how he left the Army. The dude straight up refused to be deployed and instead said, "I'm running for politics," while at the same time embellishing and flashing his history in serving the country. You know, I'd say there's quite the contrast between him and JD Vance, and I'll just let the facts speak for themselves on this one. And I know CNN doesn't want you to know any of this. No, once again, just like Joe Biden, they want you to focus on his uncle-like demeanor. There's just something about him. He looks like America's uncle.
He just looks kind of like everyone's uncle, right? He's just kind of has this sort of appeal to him.
How absolutely friggin' cringe. Democrats love to claim that the other side is lacking substance in their arguments. They're always focused on the culture wars and all of this nonsense, but it's total projection. Frankly, there's never any substance to almost anything they say, as now the pitch is vote for this stolen valor fraud and his cackling socialist partner because of his appearance. I mean, he's basically like my uncle. And because, I don't know, Kamala Harris would be shattering some sort of metaphorical glass ceiling. Yeah, how about focus on character? Democrats love to talk about character relating to Donald Trump. He's this, that, and the other. I mean, he's the absolute worst, as we already know. But as per usual, the Democrats are throwing rocks while living in a glass house. They're simply a whole lot worse. And we're really continuing to put some context to that. Let's continue with this trip down memory lane. Tim Walz, everybody's uncle. Oh, the demeanor, oh, the appearance. He just looks so harmless. Yeah, that's the narrative, but Tim's history, again, tells a little bit of a different story. Tim Walz's past DUI arrest for driving 96 miles an hour in a 55 zone comes back to haunt VP Pick. Here's Tim Walz's mugshot when he was caught speeding his silver Mazda to 96 miles an hour in a 55 zone on September 23rd, 1995. Apparently, when the trooper approached his window, he detected a strong odor of alcoholic beverage emanating from the vehicle, court documents show. After flunking a field sobriety test, he submitted a breath test, which pegged his blood alcohol level at 0.128%, well above the state's legal limit of 0.08%. So drunk driving and probably speeding in a residential neighborhood. And not just a little over the limit, dangerous, reckless driving speeding. That's who Tim Walz is. America's uncle. Yeah, apparently America's crackhead uncle. The following March, Walz pleaded the charges down to reckless driving, which required him to admit that he drove a vehicle in a manner as to indicate an indifference or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property, according to the court transcript. After accepting the plea agreement, Walz's lawyer, Russell Hartford, attempted to explain that his client was speeding because he thought the trooper was somebody chasing him, alleging he didn't fire up the light bar in a timely fashion. Yeah, it was the cop's fault that he was drunk driving and racing down a regular road. This is a little bit bizarre, but Mr. Walz thought someone was chasing him. The officer didn't turn on his red lights, and somebody came up real fast behind him, and he didn't know what they were doing. So he sped up to try to get away, fearing that somebody was after him. Lo and behold, it was the state patrolman behind him. So the faster he went, the faster the state patrol officer went. What a pathetic, obviously dishonest defense. Yeah, it was the copper's fault. Tim just thought that somebody was chasing him out of nowhere. Who is this guy? Freaking Al Capone? Who's got enemies everywhere chasing him? Is he some sort of meth head going through a paranoid psychosis event? No, of course not. None of that. He's just obviously a very dishonest man.
Thing is,
he's roasting him so bad.
Anyway. The thing is, most state troopers, when they pull up behind you like that, they're gonna run your plate before they pull you over. Yeah. They call in the plate, then they turn on the lights and pull you over, so that way the plate's being run as they're walking up to the car.
Yeah. That's good to know. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
That's how they usually do it.
I mean, I'm thinking, imagine if this was true about Donald Trump, right? If this was a story you could find in the past.
Oh, my word. The media would not let go of it.
Oh, could you imagine what they would do with this?
But yet, Tampon Tim, not a peep.
Nope.
And the reason I call him that,
Uncle.
let's take a look at his policies.
Yeah.
The man in Massachusetts passed a law that put tampons in boys' bathrooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
He also is all for gender affirming care for children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's for abortion up to and including 9 months. He's far more left than Kamala Harris ever thought of being.
Hmm.
Now, if I were a betting man, if Kamala Harris got elected, how long do you think she would hold that position?
Wow.
Before they got the person they really wanted in?
People just simply say he's a far-left socialist. That's just what he is.
Yeah.
He's just
But
a
this
far-
is where they want the country to head.
Yeah.
You see, this is the push they've been pushing for. Now they've got somebody as VP pick.
Who's
They
winning.
could push it way further.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, Kamala is kind of like the midway point, but he's like the far point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Shot in the first.
Yeah.
If I was a betting man,
Yeah. While you're on this subject,
anyway,
let me pull some things up.
I just a thought, you know.
Yeah, I want to come back to what you just said here, but yeah, this is a good one. This is a good video. We have substance here to work with.
Welcome to the race, Tim Walsh. Let's make sure America knows who you are. You helped ignite the George Floyd riots, the worst the country had ever seen in decades. While Minneapolis burned, you stalled on deployment of the National Guard for an entire day, blaming the city for not submitting the right paperwork. You let your daughter leak the Guard's deployment plans online so that rioters would know how long they had to loot the city with impunity. Minneapolis is a war zone because of you. Just days after the attempted murder of Donald Trump, you called him and his supporters fascists, egging on the same rhetoric that led him to being shot in the first place. You have overseen some of the most radical youth trans surgery laws in the country. Under your leadership, teenagers can get their breasts chopped off and get sterilized, and your government calls it health care. You have the most radical abortion laws in the country. 0 limits. Every year, 5 to 6 babies are born alive and then murdered legally under laws you support. On immigration, you famously said you wanted to provide a ladder so invaders can come over Trump's wall. You are a radical open border zealot. Also during COVID, you approved $500 million in hero pay for frontline workers, only to have 40% of that money go to people who were ineligible or, in many cases, literally deceased. In the White House, you were Pelosi's sidekick and did whatever the Democrats demanded. You will try to disguise yourself as a folksy Midwestern moderate. In reality, you are a white male version of Kamala Harris, radical, inept, undeserving to be in leadership.
Wow. That's a career
Exactly
ending
what I
ad.
was just talking about.
Career ending ad right there, boy.
And that's why he's known as Tampon Tim.
Tampon Tim. You know, I wanted to quickly share this portion here. Have you noticed a pattern? Look at this. And I thought of it myself, right? Posted at a doctor's office today. Somebody said, every election year has a disease.
New disease. Yep.
SARS, avian, swine flu, MERS, Ebola, the Zika virus, Ebola, again, the coronavirus. But did you know that there's a new one for 2024? Yeah.
Is there?
Trump is going to tell us about that. Yeah, listen.
The left-wing lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear-mongering about the new variants that are coming. Gee whiz, you know what else is coming? An election. They want to restart the COVID hysteria so they can justify more lockdowns, more censorship, more illegal drop boxes, more mail-in ballots, and trillions of dollars in payoffs to their political allies heading into the 2024 election. Does that sound familiar? These are bad people. These are sick people we're dealing with. But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates. And we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates. They rigged the 2020 election, and now they're trying to do the same thing all over again by rigging the most important election in the history of our country, the 2024 election, even if it means trying to bring back COVID. But they will fail because we will not let it happen. When I'm back in the White House, I will use every available authority to cut federal funding to any school, college, airline, or public transportation system that imposes a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate. Thank you very much.
That's my guy.
We so need him back in office, right?
Tells it like it is, man. Ain't got time for all the nonsense. Yeah, he tells it like it is. I remember when he said you were not complying, the first thing that came to my mind was this. You remember the song?
We will not comply with the institutions' sick illusion. No, it won't be televised. Welcome to the revolution. We will not comply with the institutions' sick illusion. No, it won't be televised. Welcome to the revolution. We will not comply with the institutions' sick illusion. No, it won't be televised. Welcome to the revolution.
The revolution won't be televised. Government been telling lies. If you're not with us, you better step aside. Witnessing a genocide, everything is centralized. The food that we consume and they spraying it out with pesticides. Easily identify the sheep and the snake. The real.
This stuff is seriously hard. You never
They
seen
on
it?
fire.
You never seen this one?
No.
Oh, what? All right, well, let's play it. It's lit. It's hot.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Identify the sheep and the snake, the real and the fake, giving us a reason to pray. I'ma make my own choices, a voice for the voiceless. They trying to destroy us, avoiding the poison. It's all pointless if you don't have a purpose. If you read the verses, you'll know who we versing. Government can tell you what your worth is, look deeper than the surface. They don't even want you researching or asking questions. We all being tested. Shh. Shut your mouth, they comply, that's the message. Want you depressed on prescriptions that mess with your head, got you stressing, suppressing expression.
We will not comply with the institutions' sick illusion. No, it won't be televised. Welcome to the revolution. We will not comply with the institutions' sick illusion. No, it won't be televised. Welcome to the revolution.
Keep the money, I would rather have my soul. They want power and control, that's their number one goal. All my friends turn to foes, look how easily they fold. Even Nazis say they were doing what they told. Walking down this road all alone in the cold. My soul
That's a bar. That was a bar.
Even Nazis says
Nazis were doing what were saying they were doing what they were told.
It's true. They all believe they were doing the right thing, So we're having a repetition here. We never learn from history. That's the only thing we ever learn from history.
That's what we've been saying all along. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. Scary, but that's where we're headed. All we can do is be sounding the alarm. Hopefully, we work up the few.
Yeah.
All my friends turn to foes, look how easily they fold. Even Nazis say they were doing what they told. Walking down this road all alone in the cold, but my soul never sold. I'm exposing the clones. God has chosen this role. All of those who oppose want me hopeless and broke, like I'm nowhere on boats. I'm just trying to tell them all about the flood. I can feel it in my bones, I can feel it in my blood. Man, I can't came up out the mud, only God is my judge. I don't listen to these politicians, they the real thugs. Won't comply with the lies, they disguise it as science. They want you compliant, the media's bias. These corporate giants are capitalizing on us by dividing, but I'll keep on fighting.
We will not comply with the institutions. Sick illusion, no, we won't be terrified. Welcome to the revolution. They're trying to dumb us down. Don't want us to make a sound. We gotta get out of now, 'cause it's a revolution. We will not comply with the institutions. Sick illusion, no, we won't be terrified. Welcome to the revolution.
I'll tell you what. You see these guys? They woke me up during COVID. Like when I remember being in my bedroom and I was like really like not knowing what to think when it comes to what's happening with the world and COVID and the vaccine and everything. And I heard these guys. I said, "Uh-oh." It was like there's something that literally took over me. Like, yo, there are people who are fighting back. I actually never saw and heard that there were people that were pushing back against it. Because all I ever heard was people that were just for it.
Nah.
It was from there that I ended up in Rumble. From Rumble, I began to get information from the right. And from the right, I began to meet people and then I was introduced to Tom McDonald. So these guys led me to Tom McDonald. From Tom McDonald to now knowing you and everybody else. But I'll tell you what, I started listening to these guys. It was like, oh my Lord, this feels good. There are people who are pushing back.
Yeah.
I was like, praise the Lord. Yeah, there's another one too. He's called August something. I think it's August 16. I'm not sure if you ever heard him. That guy, August, anyway, he went off too. He had some really, really good songs.
Yeah, my mom, I refused to let my mom get it, and I never got it myself.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is now you really have to be careful like who you date and stuff, because if you're single, if you date anybody or get a blood transfusion from anybody who's had it, you can get it from that.
Ooh, you.
Yeah. So our blood supply, our blood stock from anybody who's donated blood or anything might be tainted.
Wow.
Just
That's scary. That's scary. Yeah.
Something to keep in mind. For anybody who's out there in the dating world, make sure that, if you're thinking about dating somebody, find out if they've had it. And if they have, maybe think twice. And if it's worth it.
Yeah. Have you heard of 5 time August?
No.
Oh man. Yeah, I was introduced to him too. And I found this just literally random. It just literally popped up. And I'm so glad he did because, for example, you're going to love this. These guys spell out the issue. That's when he was unpopular. Look at this. This is about Dr. Fauci.
Sad little man sitting deep in a lie. He's dead in his soul, but he'll keep you alive. Do what he says, not what he do, 'cause the truth is for him and the lie is for you. Sad little man, but he's treated like a god as the faithless pray to a fake and a fraud. Worship the man, pledge to his word.
Yeah, that's not even it. But the one that that was really, really popular is that one right there. And I know we're gonna get back to our regular. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's the one that I saw.
Shut your mouth, get in line, just behave or pay the fine. They're pulling on your backbone and taking out your spine. They want you weak, don't speak, don't question, don't think. Keep staring at your smartphone, get dumber every week. Now give up your freedom and shush. Oh Jesus, what happened to us?
Yeah, this is a reminder of how much we lost our minds, man.
Freaking soy boys.
That's ridiculous. Anyway,
Speaking of free speech and what happened to us,
woo, Elon Musk. Yeah, they're going after Elon Musk, man.
UK ain't happy with it.
Half of what we share with you guys are from X, the platform X, man. And some people don't want that platform to be alive because it's literally spinning the news. The media can't win because of X.
Mm-hmm.
The brainwash is not working because of X. It's that powerful of a thing. So
brace yourselves, freedom lovers, because we're about to dive into a story that will send chills down your spine. The UK has just unleashed Orwellian speech laws that could land you in jail for a simple retweet. But it doesn't stop there. We've got Joe Rogan sounding the alarm, comparing it to Soviet Russia. Is this dystopian nightmare heading to American shores? And in a twist that affects us all, the World Federation of Advertisers is shutting down GARM after X and Rumble's lawsuit. So what does this mean for free speech online? Stick around, because this story could be the key to understanding the future of your First Amendment rights. Now, in these uncertain times, protecting yourself is paramount. Just as we're exposing threats to free speech, you need to safeguard yourself on the road. Our sponsor, following what's going on in the UK. Riots. It is absolutely insane. Now, I don't even know where to begin here because it's so frightening. I guess before we get to the GARM situation, because GARM, that's really good news about GARM. I think we should open up with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan goes there, says the UK's speech crackdown reminds him of Soviet Russia. You ready for this? Let's go.
Well, now a lot of just terrible government overreach. You're seeing it now in England where people are getting arrested for tweets.
Yeah.
Well, England, people talk about Soviet Russia, like how bad Russia is in terms of cracking down on thought police and cracking down on bad tweets and things like that. I think the statistics are, England I think there's something like 4,000 people have been arrested in England for thought crimes, where they've said things online that people find to be a hateful thing or a problematic thing. And I think it's only 200 in Russia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe in Russia they're too scared to do it at all.
Could be. Yeah. But the fact that they're comfortable with finding people who've said something that they disagree with and putting them in a fucking cage in England in 2024 is really wild.
Yeah.
Especially they're saying you get arrested just for retweeting something.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really...
But
what?
Yeah. Yeah. They've literally gone and made a Gestapo to search the internet to find mean
They don't have
tweets.
anything else to do?
Apparently not. Like,
You can't be serious. UK, you can't be this bad.
No, they are. They legit are.
Yo, look at this meme. Look at this meme. You're gonna love it. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who'd have thunk?
Unbelievable. I never thought my book would become a reality.
Who'd have thought George Orwell would have been a prophet?
Yeah. Look at this. I got to do a video about this on my other channel. This is crazy. Yeah, she's arresting somebody for a Facebook post. UK. This is not fake news, guys.
The time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. Under
What?
127 of the Communications Act, okay? So you do not have to say anything that may harm your defence if you don't mention one question, something which you later are in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being
You're
arrested.
going to be arrested, okay?
Right,
Take you
and-
up to the police station.
Right.
Ask you, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Okay?
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Right.
So we need to ask you some questions about that.
Right.
Have you got anything in your pockets, Thomas?
I've got my keys. I got. No, that's about it. I think keys.
So, anyone who's been arrested, we can search them on Section 13.
Oh, this is crazy. This is
Right.
crazy.
Dangerous items.
Hey, I mean, you said I was going to be arrested under some what information? I'm going to be arrested for posting on Facebook.
Some comments that are offensive, obscene, and people have made a complaint about that, and it's
And can you tell me what this comment was?
Okay, well we'll do that when we interview.
All right. And so, what am I going to be locked up for the night, or?
Hopefully not.
Oh man, oh man.
But what if it's true?
It doesn't matter. You just weren't supposed to say it. It's offensive. Somebody's hurt. Somebody's hurt.
Like, that's my question is, what if you're saying it's true?
It doesn't matter from their perspective, obviously. They didn't even take time to investigate whether or not what you're saying is true. But
See,
even if
this is the whole point of
you cannot be in prison for telling either truth or lies. I mean, it's one thing you saying something that is, impacting the government or the federal government. That's something different. While you're calling for violence and, stuff like that, I can understand. But it's even there, locking a person up for that is still problematic. Like, this is
apparently
crazy.
Facebook jail ain't no joke no more.
This is ridiculous. Like, if they're doing that over there, it's hey, the pendulum always swing on the other side. It won't be long before it comes over here.
You know what? There's a reason we kicked them out of here 200, 300 years ago.
Yeah. By the way, this is a judge, laying down a sentence.
I've seen this one.
You saw that one?
You have been committed for sentence, having pleaded guilty to an offence of publishing written material which is threatening, abusive or insulting, intending thereby to stir up racial hatred. The context of your offending is that it arises out of the civil unrest and disorder in many parts of the United Kingdom. On the night of the 2nd and 3rd of August, the Britannia Hotel in Leeds was attacked by people who threw missiles which damaged windows. The police were called, and on the 3rd of August the hotel was locked down for the protection of those who were living there. At the time there were 210 occupants, many of whom were foreign refugees and asylum seekers. Similar attacks to the hotel were launched on the 4th of August. The police attended on each occasion, and units were deployed to safeguard the hotel and to provide an increase in the police presence in the area. In between the two attacks, you took to social media in order to encourage others towards participation in the attacks upon the hotel. As is recognised on your behalf, this offence is so serious that an immediate custodial sentence is unavoidable. Would you stand, please? The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment. You will serve up to 1/2 of your sentence in custody before you are released on licence. If you fail to abide by the conditions of your licence, you can be returned to prison to serve some or all of the remainder of the custodial term. The victim surcharge will apply, and I will make a collection order.
Unbelievable.
See, there's a bit of there's a bit of a difference in this one though.
Yeah, I get it. I get that one.
Because this one's like a direct call to action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even in the U.S., that's illegal.
Yes, I agree. And it involved some political leaders as well. So that
whether or not it involved political leaders is kind of moot. The fact that it's a direct call to violence against another person is illegal in and of itself.
Yeah, I agree. But again, even though it's illegal, when you look at what happened during the Summer of Love 2.0, that's what they were doing. That's exactly what the media was calling for.
Exactly.
And that was never an issue. Now, I'm not saying we're okay with it. We think it was wrong.
Like if one side says, well, people are rioting in the streets, and the other turns around and says, well, it's mostly peaceful protests.
Yeah. While the church behind you is on fire.
I mean,
yeah, that's just a little crazy.
The one they turn around and they put everybody in jail who's saying that it's a riot when that's actually what it is.
Yeah.
That is wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Calling a spade is wrong.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it
getting jailed for it.
Serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
And here's the problem with that. Even if you say, yeah, well, people shouldn't tweet hateful things. I agree. They shouldn't. But who's to decide what is a hateful thing?
That's the problem. It's
That's
subjective.
the problem. It's very subjective.
And it still shouldn't be a crime.
And in our lifetime, we've seen that get moved, right? So it used to be if a guy thought he was a woman and his name was Doug, and you grew up with Doug, and all of a sudden Doug wants to be called Debbie, if you call him Doug, it's no big deal. Like, yeah, maybe you're being rude to call him Doug, but it's not a hate crime, okay? Well, now a lot of people think it's a hate crime, and that got you banned from Twitter for life. So if you dead named someone on the old Twitter, you are banned for life. Dead name, not even making up a name. You can call him an idiot. You can call someone an idiot. Okay, forget about a man in a dress. Maybe that's a problem. But if you call like a regular guy an idiot, you stupid fuck, fine, no problem. But if you call Doug, you will get banned for life. Okay, that's the new hate speech. That's crazy. Now, if that keeps going, that didn't exist before. If that keeps going, maybe you can go to jail for calling him Doug. Maybe they think it's okay to put you in jail because you violated their hate speech laws. Just terrible government over.
What's interesting about how he's talking about dead naming is that when I had my consultation with YouTube, I was told that you couldn't dead name somebody because that they would consider it hate speech, and therefore the channel would not get remonetized. Now, it's not a topic that we cover here. I just stay away from it because it's repulsive to begin with. So I just avoid it. But the fact is that, he's bringing it up how you get banned from Twitter for life for dead naming. And that's actually one of the points that was brought to my attention regarding the terms of service on YouTube. And now people are being put in jail for retweeting posts on X. And Elon Musk sounding off on this. He's calling it the woke Stasi. And wokeness tweeting that UK authorities will round up and charge citizens who retweet any material deemed as inciting hatred. Now, this appears to be the same post that was included in the piece with Rogan.
Incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence.
The DPP warns, this is the lower third, this is the Chiron on this, Sky News report. DPP warns sharing online material of the riots could be an offense. So if you are connected to what's happening there, you want to find out what's happening, you want to share what's happening there in the UK, simply by retweeting information regarding the riots, could land you in prison. Now, remember, the UK does not have a Bill of Rights and a free speech amendment like we have here. Thank God. We overthrew the crown and established the Constitution. But this is what they want to bring here. Look what's happening up in Canada. Same type of situation. They're policing social media and putting people in prison for what they believe are hate speech violations. They can't do that here. Instead, what they do is they create terms of service, and then if you violate the terms of service, they just terminate you or they demonetize you, shadow ban you, because they cannot call it criminal. But they're on the way. They are on the way.
Yeah, it's scary, man. It's already happening on the internet, so it might not be happening in real life as it is happening over there in UK, but we felt what censorship is like around here.
Yeah, they strike your
I
channel.
have evidence all from YouTube, you know, man. Like I can show you, man. They plague the channel with check marks over stuff like gender and stuff like that. You say the word COVID, and later on turned out we were in the right. Like we were in the right for saying the things that was not popular at the time, and later on it turned out to be popular. And now everybody can say it. Well, it's like, what? This is ridiculous. So people will maybe
now if we can't publish anything that isn't along with their narrative.
Yeah, it has to be in line with
that
the
they
narrative.
produce. Then it's wrong.
Yeah, it's hate speech. But what about this? All right, Michigan bill making misgendering a hate crime is unconstitutional, right? So that's what it says.
Guess who passed that?
Who did?
Tampon Tim.
Oh, stop it. Him again. So again, him right there. If you misgender a trans person in Michigan, you go to prison. Now, it turned out to be unconstitutional, but he was trying to push it.
Yeah, he was trying to push it.
J.K. Rowling claims that she will happily spend 2 years in prison for misgendering a trans person. And this was, and again, until today, I think she's being sued by a person from, is it Emaine?
Yeah.
Khalif Emaine from the Olympic, because she said that you got a man fighting against a woman and stuff like that in the boxing ring. Yeah. But if you're seeing what's going on here, is that we already seeing like this stuff. We are already walking in that same area. So teacher jail for contempt of court after refusing to use student gender neutral pronouns. So we ain't that different from UK. I mean, we still slowing things down. We're pushing back in somewhat. Thank God we have a constitution that doesn't allow them to just run rampant. But it seems like we are burning the constitution a little bit at a time, though.
Yeah, we're chipping away at it.
Way to making that happen. Someone's going to create legislation at some point that is going to amplify and redefine hate speech. Even though we have a First Amendment here. Now, in the vein of this demonetization, some good news. We just reported the other day, Elon Musk filing a lawsuit against the Global Alliance for Responsible Media. Now, the Global Alliance for Responsible Media was recently brought to light in a congressional hearing on the Weaponization Committee with Jim Jordan. We presented to you clips here of Ben Shapiro testifying before that committee because the Daily Wire and Breitbart were also targeted by that group, the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, GARM. And when we discussed this the last time, I had presented this, that listen, this channel's been demonetized. We're fighting for survival. If you want to support us, there are links down below. I hope you will make a decision to chip in $5-10 because it helps, sincerely. So we said, listen, we need to find out if our channel, for example, if GARM reached out to YouTube and said, shut these guys down, take their advertising away. Because during the 2016 election, this channel was one of the most influential channels online. We helped elect Donald Trump in 2016. And it's evidenced by all the media attacks that came after the win. The Washington Post, the New York Times, the Guardian, Forbes, all these outlets came after us right after the 2016 election. And then they changed the algorithm in 2017, just a few months later, and suppressed the channel. Overnight, our channel lost 80% of its viewership because of an algorithmic shift to lift up the authoritative voices. That's what they called it. CNN and MSNBC and BBC, those were the authoritative voices. But people like me, who do our own investigation, have our own positions and opinions, no. Just sweep them down. And as I've mentioned before, Zach Voorhees bringing out that information, confirming that information when he blew the whistle, bringing out documents listing our channel and internal records.
Basically killed independent
media. So I brought
media.
up that question.
Yeah, the after the 2016 election, when they made the changes to the algorithm, it basically destroyed independent media on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's what he did. I can tell you, my channel has been shadow banned because I know exactly. Yeah, it's like they realized that Trump won because the information from the mainstream media wasn't good enough to stop the independent media network.
Mm-hmm.
Like people were getting their news from other sources, so they had to repress the content. And it's true. Like the independent media, we are smaller. Some of us are bigger than even the mainstream medias, but we have so many. So it's like a bunch of little guys that are like but we have little crowds. So smaller groups. So I have a 130,000 now. You got your amount, and I got another channel. It's like, but the more we speak, people are listening. Even though they're few in number, that information goes really far, and people are spreading that information. So it's like a war over words, a war over information is going on here, and the mainstream media is losing. They're not winning. They're actually losing,
and they don't like that.
They don't like that very much, and that's how they were able to work with YouTube and suppress the content. Like my YouTube channel with 37,000 subscribers, my videos on average is getting 2,000 views on average, 500 to 2,000 views. That's simply from the subscribers that I have, I should be getting at least 50,000 views per videos. At least these people should be getting notified. So what's happening? They're not being notified. And from when I put the videos out, they don't even know that I'm putting videos. Like I'm sure sometimes you don't even realize that I'm working. You might never pop up on your phone.
Yeah.
It might never show up. You don't even know that James is still working. But what you might not know is almost every day I put a video out on Look and Live. I work consistently. Almost every day there's something coming out. But the people are not getting that information. So if you don't go type Look and Live, what's going on there, you're not going to find it. Like, for example, Mark Dice. Mark Dice was saying this, and I thought this was a lie. I haven't heard of Mark Dice for like a month. He was like, where did Mark Dice go? And then I just typed Mark Dice. The guy's been recording every three days. There's a video coming out. And like, Mark Dice is working. How come I'm not getting anything from him?
Yeah.
It's because he's being shadow banned. And he explained it. He said, I'm being shadow banned. And he is stuck on 1,800,000 something subscribers. It's been like that for 5 months. That's crazy when you're growing that fast and all of a sudden you stop growing and nobody's seeing your videos. You're being shadow banned.
And that's why a lot of YouTubers are migrating over to Rumble.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, it really hurts. It hurts you financially as well. It hurts you extremely bad. And that's why it's good to have another channel where you're doing your other things and stuff like that.
Or Patreon.
Yeah, have a Patreon and also tell the people consistently about this. When you talk to them, let them know they need to give the videos thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel, push the content forward. Like this way you can fight against it. Yeah, like the people have to help you fight against that. They have to comment and stuff like that. But if they're not getting the notification, like they don't know.
Comment, subscribe.
Yeah, comment, subscribe, and share. Like those things really, really matters. It actually helps fighting against the shadow banning, because you can still play with the algorithm even though they're trying to shadow ban you. The algorithm is still pushing contents. They can't really control the algorithm in that way, but they can oppress the content that's coming from your channel. So you can, if you put thumbs up, you put comments, you still end up pushing the videos forward. So yeah, I have videos that got 3-something million views. I got another video got 1 million point something views. I have some 500,000 videos, but all of a sudden for the past 3 months, all my videos have been under 3,000 views. And lately I put like a number of videos is like 300 views. That's shadow banning. That is weird. Like, yes, my subscribers alone should be giving me at least 10,000 to 50,000 views. Just the people, the people that are already connected to me, they should be getting that without any no news viewership. Just regular people who are part of the channel alone should be giving you that viewership. They're not even getting it. So it's not me.
crazy.
It's not like we are bending you guys. Listen, we are recording every 2 weeks. We are here. Heart of the matter. We are putting stuff all over the place. It's not us. We're working. They're making sure the work doesn't reach. They're making sure to stop the reach of the videos. That's what they're doing, and that's dirty.
Dirty business.
Dirty business indeed, and it's sad to watch. So I know what he's talking about. I know exactly what he's saying. Yep.
Shit, I said, well, what is, we got demonetized 19, 20 months ago. Fighting for our life here every day. Was GARM involved in that decision-making process? Did GARM put pressure on YouTube to demonetize us? We don't know. So Elon Musk steps up to the plate and says, we're going to sue GARM. We're going to sue you guys to find out exactly what happened. I put out a message to Elon, to Mike Benz, to all the people who were inside of that lawsuit to include us, because we want to find out. And what happens? The World Federation of Advertisers is now shutting down. They're shutting down the Global Alliance for Responsible Media following an antitrust lawsuit filed by X and Rumble, according to Business Insider. GARM played a key role in the corporate cartel behind online censorship. So this is a huge, huge development. Rather than face the music, they decided they would shut it down. Kanekoa the Great tweeting out that message. Craig Chamberlain, now while GARM shut down at the threat of a lawsuit from Elon Musk and Rumble. That goes to show they knew they were cooked right out of the gate and their position was indefensible. This is a huge victory for free speech. Love to see this. Go free speech. Amen. Big victory for free speech. Wow, this is great news. What's crazy is all the big tech companies that have bent the knee to GARM for years. All it took was a few people with courage. That's all it took. Elon Musk said, we're going to sue the hell out of you. We're going to find out. And they caved. This is an open admission of guilt. The lawsuit cannot be dropped. They must continue.
That last tweet reminds me of a saying. All it takes for evil to flourish is for good men to do nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. The moment you push back and you flex your muscle, they just fall apart. Because they are operating under serious corruption. Did you also hear that Trump is suing? Is he suing Georgia? Not only Georgia, but the Mar-a-Lago raid that they did on him. Yeah, he's suing. I'm like, yeah, boy. Because that's gonna get the facts. It's gonna get to the heart of what really, really happened that day.
And it's not even like he wants anything out of it other than just discovery.
Yeah, everything dropped. And I think he's going to have to sue even for what happened to him recently with the shooting. He's not going to get to the facts without a lawsuit. No. Like, the only way, because they're going to keep covering it up, just like 9/11, right? Keep covering it up. Yeah, and then what has to happen, he has to sue. And once he sues, they're going to get to the heart of the matter of what actually happened. And then that's when,
He said it.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this. This is a really good video. I really appreciate this because that right here comes down my alley because I'm experiencing it as well, so I know what this is about.
This is an open admission of guilt. The lawsuit cannot be dropped. They must continue forward and get the discovery. Well, we'll see. Maybe the lawsuit will continue. Maybe they will continue to go to the next level of the organization because that was a World Economic Forum group funded by the World Economic Forum. Libs of TikTok even replying, wow, huge W. Garm fears discovery, and what per tell will we find? Yep. Leftists were all mocking Elon yesterday for filing this lawsuit. Cope and seethe you libtards. Okay, so the Fourth Branch tweeting this point. Garm's 16 inaugural members include the WFA, the social media platform Facebook, technology company Google, its video subsidiary YouTube, social media company Twitter, Mobile Marketing Association, and others. Garm has been a flagship project of the World Economic Forum since at least November of 2019. So yes, it all makes sense now. The hammer dropped, Elon dropped it, and now they're shutting down. So let's just hope that the lawsuit continues to move forward. But the greater terrifying reality we're facing is the fact that the UK authorities are going to be rounding up citizens who retweet any material deemed inciting hatred.
Yo, you gotta see this. I'm looking as this guy is speaking because I'm getting some articles pulled up. Yeah. So GAM, which is Global Alliance for Responsible Media, that's what they're supposed to represent. Yeah, it is true. Today we announced that GAM will discontinue its activities. All of a sudden, this came to an end. Okay, so we're talking about August 9, 2024. So this is shocking news. And I went on the World Economic Forum page, and it was posted right there. There it is, where it shows the connection with World Economic Forum. And guess what happened to the page? Sorry, we cannot find the page you were looking for. So what are they saying? They're hiding the evidence. Mm-hmm. They're hiding the connection that there is. And I'm like, that's really interesting that they're doing this. They
don't want the discovery coming out.
No, because they know people are going to start digging into this thing, and they're going to realize that they're messing with their people's free speech. So they're already covering up. But guess what? Somebody took a picture somewhere. The thing is, X already has it. So all you have to do is
Elon's got it.
Yeah, they said X already got it. So I don't have to worry about it. It's just crazy that they're doing this. Well, that's when you know somebody is guilty. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
I mean, if it was on the internet never forgets. You're muted.
Somebody has to know what they're doing, and they'll be able to find it. Yeah, good point. The internet never forgets.
So I'll leave you with this. Free speech is dangerous unless liberals control it. Isn't that right? Free speech should be free. We should all be able to talk. We should all be able to have open dialogue, challenge narratives and question them. How else can we refine our positions if we don't get challenged? So, patriots, if that doesn't wake you up to the threats facing our freedoms, I don't know what will. From the UK's thought police to the collapse of online censorship cartels, it's clear the battle for free speech is far from over, but here is a silver lining. With every threat comes an opportunity for us to stand up and fight back. Keep speaking out. Keep sharing the truth, and never take your rights for granted. Remember, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So keep watching the Raw feed, because we'll be here on the front lines bringing you every development in this crucial fight for liberty.
Amen. You got to keep talking. And like you say, you have to diversify the content. Go on Rumble. Go on TikTok. Go on Facebook. Like, flood the internet with however you can use it, go on X, and also create alternative platforms. You have to create other channels. So I do have like 3 channels as a result of being censored. I wanted to have one channel and be happy, but I'm realizing when they censor this one, I go over there. When they censor that one, I come back over there. They can't censor all of them at the same time.
You have to diversify.
Yeah, you have to diversify. Yeah, diversify the content, man. And it works. So,
And here's the thing.
Blessing.
That Gary Frenchie, the guy we just watched, did another video later on where a police commissioner from the UK threatened to have Elon deported and arrested in the UK for hate speech.
That's just crazy. That ain't gonna happen.
And then Elon tweeted, well, I'm a nice guy and I wouldn't really want to tweet this, but... And then he turned around and put like a really offensive tweet to England about I think it was something about like 1776 or something. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but it was hilarious.
That was a beat down.
It was a classic Elon moment.
Yeah, he has fun with them though. Yeah. Elon Musk became one of the most powerful person in the world just because he bought X. One of the greatest investment he ever did. Even though he might not be getting his money's worth, but he's getting like credibility and respect in the world stage like nothing else.
It wasn't even just because he bought X. I mean, the man bought X and actually opened it up as it was meant to be, as a true public forum for free speech.
Yeah, that's crazy. Powerful. Well, let's finish with this ad here. Kids are on their way home. So let's finish with this ad. This is a Donald Trump ad, and boy, I think this was epic.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! ! At real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Never got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
A new world order. These allegations are false. Weapons of mass destruction. The USA Patriot Act. The blueprint for large corporations.
We once were, we are no longer a Christian nation.
Donald Trump confirmed that he is considering a run in 2016.
Do it.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
He will never be President of the United States.
Donald Trump will never be elected President of the United States.
As people are watching these results come in,
We are going to make this decision now. Donald Trump will be the 45th President of the United States.
Does it ever seem to you that President Trump has done more than any president in modern history?
And in the 10 years I've been involved in politics, I've never seen an administration hit the ground running like this.
I could spend the rest of the hour laying out the accomplishments under the Trump presidency, despite everything thrown at him.
Market just had its 12th straight record close.
Taking action to save as many kids as they can.
We were energy independent under the Trump administration.
More Americans reported being employed than ever before.
Those who have served our country in the military to get access to mental health care.
The Great American Outdoors Act is the largest single piece of legislation to support our national parks and public lands.
Created more than 7 million good-paying jobs.
Websites can be held liable in court for having sex trafficking content.
The Abraham Accords, which for any other president would have been multiple peace prizes.
America did not enter into a foreign war.
The employment rate in the U.S. fell to 3.5%.
The First Step Act eases federal sentencing for nonviolent offenders.
Increased funding for historically black colleges and universities.
Allows terminally ill patients easier access to experimental drugs.
Kept the inflation rate low.
Honored with the Bipartisan Justice Award.
Had a massive MS-13 gang problem.
3.9% is the unemployment rate.
Requiring airports to provide lactation rooms for breastfeeding mothers.
Middle class family income increased nearly $6,000.
A dramatic escalation in his crackdown on illegal immigration.
An advocate for educational choice.
Tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
An act preventing animal cruelty and torture.
Taking out Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, Soleimani, the Iranian general.
Save Our Seas Act commitment to environmental issues.
We're saying Merry Christmas again.
Community development in low-income urban and rural communities.
Help us to remember the importance of fighting off tyranny.
Pulling out of UNESCO, the World Health Organization, the Paris Climate Accords, reassessing NATO and the United Nations.
Stood up for Christianity and the Constitution more than any president in American modern history.
We are stopping the attacks on Judeo-Christian values. Do you miss me yet?
Yeah, that gave me some serious goosebumps, boy.
President hit the ground.
That gives me serious goosebumps. You're talking about way to power pack everything about your presidency. The Biden administration cannot do that because they don't have this on their record. They don't have this on their record. They don't have this.
They ain't got anything close. Not even close.
No, actually, they do. They have a whole lot of trans dancing and a whole lot of anti-Trumpism. They have a whole lot of that. They can tell you how evil Trump is all day, all night, and they can have the trends dancing and so on. But
can you
send
me a link to that?
Oh yeah,
I want to post that on like my Facebook or something.
Oh yeah, you gotta check this out, guys. We gotta wrap it up. It's been fun. Listen, pray for our country, man. And I was speaking to some people that were somewhat in the left, and I wasn't trying to indoctrinate people because I just let people have their opinion, but. Their perspective is that the right are gonna take away our freedom and yada yada. They're gonna take away religious freedom. And I said this, and my final thought was simply this. I wasn't trying to win an argument. What I said was, if you want to worry about who's gonna take away your freedom, I think you should worry about both, just to be fair. But the big question is this: who is more determined to take away your freedom? Who is gonna take away your freedom much faster? Is it the right or the left? And that's when the question get really interesting. I was like, you just think about that. So just to be fair,
not even faster, but who's more determined to take away your freedom?
Exactly.
Period.
And I say exactly. I say, let's look at the policies. How many policies from the right has stripped away your freedom? How many policies from the left has stripped away your freedom? Right? So just take COVID, for example. Most of the people that were radical and wanted to put this thing in your vein, they want to stake you in your arm, it was people from the left. It wasn't people from the right.
They want to force you to wear masks.
The people from the right were not doing this. The governors that were from the right were telling you, do what? Listen, leave people alone.
Yeah.
Most people from the right
people
were
live
not
their lives.
for it. Yes, let people live their lives. Who's pushing climate change, no matter how you feel about it?
People on the left.
It's coming from the left. Who's supporting wars consistently? At least which proportion is supporting wars more than any other? It is people from the left.
On the left.
Yeah, who's actually trying to stop you from speaking? Who's controlling your speech? Who doesn't want you to have an opinion? Who wants to take away your weapon?
Like the tweet said, it's only free speech if the left controls it.
And I say this is how you can determine before you have this crazy reaction about how the right are evil. Yeah, there's some evil, there's some rhinos among them. We know that. Even the people from the right know that. But what they do understand is that they're not as radical. They're not willing to take away all your freedoms just like that.
Who's trying to take away your guns?
Right? Yeah. They want to take, the left is taking your children in the womb. They're calling them fetus so that they can cancel the child in the womb. That's being done by the left. They are also supporting the Great Reset. The Great Reset is saying we need to depopulate the world. To depopulate the world, that means you have to kill people. That's
reset and replacement theory.
Yeah, the Great Reset. Yes, I said this is what they're calling for, and the left support that. Women's sports, the left when there's a bill
demolishing it.
Yeah, when there's a bill to protect women's sports, majority of the left, over 90% of them, vote against it. But they care about women, though. Majority of the left open your borders wide open, and it's hurting all communities, including black communities. But they're saying they the right are the racist ones,
when it comes to real women's reproductive rights.
Yes. It's just
real reproductive rights, not this abortion crap that they call reproductive rights.
That's something else. That's not reproductive. No, nothing's being
What,
reproduced.
where does the left stand on it? You know,
It's ridiculous, boy.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Like
just to be
just
fair.
a little bit of common sense goes a long way.
Long way. Please. Could you please pray for us?
All right. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We come before you today and we ask that you forgive us of any sins that we may have committed, that we may not have asked for forgiveness for, that may have slipped our radar, that you know of, so that we may come before you whole and pure. And then we also ask that if there's anybody in the Discord or in chat today that has a prayer request, that you see to it that those requests are granted in your manner as you see fit.
Correct.
We also pray that you be with everyone today and bless them in your own way, and be with them as they see throughout their day and out their weekend and their plans for the weekend. And I ask that you pray and be with Pastor as he goes and tends to his flock and leads them in the way that you would have him, and that you speak through him in a powerful way, in a strong way, that you give him the words that he needs to lead people to you, Lord, that he may save the souls, those who need it the most. And for all the many blessings that you're about to bestow, we thank you, Lord. We give many thanks for everything you're about to do, and we thank you for this time that we've been able to spend together in your presence. And all of this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, everyone. God bless you all. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been a fun day. We're doing it again 2 weeks from now. Until then, look out for videos coming out from both the Look and Live and the Heart of the Matter. The Heart of the Matter. See you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you, my man.